Powers and principalities.
There's so much fire inside me.
Tragedy struck when part of the largest hillside at the kosher rubbish dump collapsed.
It's going to be fun to see how he goes about approaching this game.
We table issues relating to the arts and entertainment for a riveting discussion, of course, without fear nor favor.
The question the presenter asked them was a dumb question. You need to speak the fact and move.
Varied views. We agree to disagree.
So I would disagree with everything you said. I think that he's a smart guy. I think what he did.
No, but I also said he's a smart guy.
Yeah.
I guess that I'm waiting for the what next.
Yeah, I don't think that we have to wait for what next.
It sometimes gets confrontational, but that's the beauty of the game.
Today you're funny face. It's not my brother. I don't know him. You don't know funny face. It's not my brother. You don't know funny face.
It's a package. We meet, we sit, we dialogue, we learn, we progress. My name is Benefo Huabin Abrantepa, a proud blogger, and this is my forum.
One of the things GhanaWeb is doing, which in my estimation is one of the best things, is trying as much as possible to give pictorial in terms of video of whatever it's reporting online. Unlike those days where you only had to read about text. This time around, they've gone a step ahead and to ensure that there's a video added to whatever content they are putting out there for readers to also have a feel of the story. One of the things I think GhanaWeb can do is to, apart from the online TV, rather go on a full-fledged TV channel rather than the online TV. I think that would help. I've seen that the online TV is helping, but they should just go in a full channel. Keep up the good work. There may be challenges, but don't be deterred by those challenges. Challenges are bound to happen in every institution, and try and work harder focus on whatever you set to do for yourself, and I'm sure as the years roll by, you achieve those challenges.
Totally surprised by the amount of waste gathered here at the Coligono Beach, which is near the estuary. You can find everything here, from plastic waste, medicine, sachet rubbers, shoes. Yeah, I can see a shoe right here, and old clothes. They are all heaped on the shore, wondering where they come from right from the sea. Fishermen say they catch more plastic than fishes. We are here at the Coligono Beach to speak to these fishermen who are affected by these plastic waste to ascertain the negative impact on their job. My name is Paulina Deda Opoku. This is a GhanaWeb Special Report. Let's get talking.
When it was raining, that plastic used to come normally.
Okay.
And they catch plenty. But when it doesn't be a rain season there, they doesn't catch that plastic. Okay. If you are, imagine, see the now it's the rain season. So okay. By all means, the plastic will come plenty. They will come from, they will pass through the river and the Kole Lagoon and enter the sea. So when you enter the sea, that will come plenty inside the surface of the bottom of the sea. Okay. So when you throw the net or you lay the net, that pass through the bottle, that will all go come inside your net.
Wow. But then if you take a look at it, where does these plastics come from? Well, if you trace it, where do you think it comes from?
Those people, the market people, when they selling it in the market, maybe you can't buy pure water. Yeah. You drink it, throw it on the roadside. When rain fall, all will pass through the gutter. And that, through the gutter, that will enter the river, the Kole Lagoon. Through the Kole Lagoon, that will enter the sea. Okay. So that brings the problem to us.
Because I can see that there are old clothes, there are bottles,
all these bottles you are seeing, all from the lagoon, pass through the lagoon, come inside the sea. Okay. If you go to Kokpama, go stand and see how there is. All be plastic. So then rainfall, all that plastic pass through the Kole Lagoon, through inside the sea. On the olden days, that in the drinking bottles or they are not, it's not normal day. Okay. But now there are a lot in the system, so they are taking a lot of the job. Making drinks, making so. So you can normally, if you said they should stop in it, no, it shouldn't be that.
Do you come here every morning to buy fish from these fishermen?
No, normally I used to go to Tema Harbour, but once in a blue moon I used to pop in here. But when you come here, always, you don't even get the fish as quantity as you want because of the plastic weight. The sea used to blow to them up there. When they go for the catching, they don't get it plenty like how we want you to buy it. So it is affecting them a lot in the fish catching. So that's all what I can say.
So for this bowl of fish, I guess this one is yours.
Yes.
How much is it being sold to you for?
For now.
Yeah.
He said it's 70 Ghana.
70 cedis. Wow.
Yes.
Fresh fish. I think it's a bit expensive, but what do you think?
Yes, it's very expensive.
Okay.
When they get it plenty, the price will come down. But they don't get it plenty, so the price will go up.
All right.
So that's how it is because of the waste.
But what do you use the fishes for? Do you sell?
I used to sell.
All right.
Yes. So I'm going to sell it.
So looking at bringing solution to our beaches, not catching plastic for fishes, what must be done? Maybe the fishermen, the community, and even the government.
The community must help, and the government too must help to tide our country and around the beach areas for us of the plastic waste.
They always complain that all the plastic is coming from the other end, Agboglosi, where they sack the people. They call it Lagoon. So always they are having plastic here. That's the challenge they are having here. So
it's an issue of plastics in our season on our beaches is a big issue for the country. What do you think that the people, especially those who live along the coastal communities, can do to help the situation?
Yeah, unless maybe I will plead to the government. I will plead to the government to help them to find a solution for the lagoon. Because I can see it's not their fault here. That's what they always complain. That it's not their fault. We help them. We can clean this place very nicely. Before 1 week time, you see another plastic. So when they stop the plastic from the Kole Lagoon, I think we can have very nice beach here.
I'm a chunwe no kuno kwa mehawo. Well, any fire or ona fire can be any. Kaja yeni ye ton ayedwe e ka chia wo farm e keke fa ka ho e keke dwe pe ba. Wo ka je ka dwe ba. E ke be dwe te nu mi ka agme ya ni kin. E ke be dun mama hwe ni bi kome ni bi nehi bo cho na chukun wo wi ahun wo lebo ni aba pe ahun don wona ni wo pe wo ya keke muko ba bi ele nche ni ba wi wo pin ni ba wi e je wo wi ahun no te na muko kura ba ye bi e wona ni e je ka wo wi no ka wo wi bro che no ba bi ni bo na bo ni bi e yo wo wi ahun wona fa ka ji ayeni awodwe me ni ba lu odwe bola ke ni bi pin bona aka wo gota mi aka wo fa mi ke fa ke ho ke dwe pin ba bi wona ni dwe pin ba bi ke wo wole bo ni wo ba fi wo ha wona ni wo ke government lenche le ke che be ba sa le fine
o se yenya nkofo a sa nwure ba mo de container ni besi ho a ye be su egu
see the container ni ho
container ni wo de ba ha adwen
ye se mo ye bola na mo de kunyi fa
ko ehin fa na ye de begu ehwa na ye de begu ye ni be bi ye de ehwa na ye de begu nti be hia pa se ye benya container wo mpoano ha na ya se nwure ni nyina ye de egu kala ba fa ko ebe ye simple ebe me ha ye fet se mpoano na se ni ha ye fe no
te ba ha bebre bola nko ewura no
eyura no eyura ni do oflu kromo
oflu kromo if aside hefa na o sha odi wani die
oflu konkoma kaneshi
aneni yaba
ni nyina oflu gota nu ọmọ be se koloni street na ba ha no ọmọ be go anke ya tram mu ka cha akufa do se on fa scambler on fa mama fo no me ye eduma wa so me so ampo anu
na mo ye sure so mo se science so mba bi ma na se ye de bola bi si ha sei se ba na nka ma se sa ko
on fa bi amba
on fa hwi amba bi amba bola tank ba ku pe no mu da be si a bola nu ye ma no omu da ko be chata no mu da ba no oda usta bola no udu ko guwa no omadu ska
wo pen ta san papa na me ka chewo nti papa na mu ayo bono kra
usta bola no udu ko no omadu ska
amaji ayo moji mai
amutu mi je be 2 3 3 3 5
bola sem plastics na
10 3 na di
bag ba ko na
10 3 na di enti so nkite ske bia unkite bia so ku ja bola na you should have gone puano.
On the back of the close season, remember they said you shouldn't go for fishing. When they opened the sea, would you say that you are catching more fishes now? Was it good?
Maybe no, we are not Lord. And we are not Lord, but Lord, it be Lord who created the fish. Maybe if we Lord the sea will be locked without getting fish, maybe the sea will be open to get fish. So we are not God.
But looking at your catch, you know what when it was before it was closed, you knew what you were catching. But now that they've opened it after months,
I think it's normal small.
It's normal small.
It's normal small.
Okay.
It's normal small.
So with the fishes that they are catching, do you know the name of these ones, like the long ones? What's the name of that one?
His name be Odwe. The other one is one down. Is that no? The one we lay on the one down.
So this one, what food can you eat it with? Is this your ga kenke or?
Nah. It be normal fish. He used to eat every kind of food in the system. Rice, jollof, smoking it, frying it, all it will help.
We talk about what will happen. We talk about what will happen in connection. What in your PPR, one more that.
Premise for an outcome.
And yo, in your MPP, one more that. What on connection will be what on connection. What on your turn? 520. Since I put out on 1 million.
1 million.
What is I want more that? I'm sorry, I want more.
Our next stop is the premix fuel station, where you can see a number of fishermen who are here to purchase fuel. From our earlier interactions with some of the fisher folks, they claim that getting premix fuel can be a challenge. They have leveled some allegations against the authorities who distribute the fuel. So we are here to speak to the head of distribution to ascertain whether these allegations are true or not. Daddy, good afternoon. All right. So we are just here. It's all about the premix fuel. I want to find out from you, how is business?
Premix, I get politics. Be NDCB so be. I mean no, many do machine JMP MPP baby. NDCB premix kaba amambayo. Shibede yo le jage premix BP ka ese cheni akeba. E share many ya wo. O felt mo gidigidi by few. She na on premise MPPB insurance ni machine NDCB so MPPB ni insurance I mean share nyuma NDCB so insurance o premise gagaba NDCB I mean no ajela premise na on ejala bi na on le keje che na kan no on le e yakunwe na kan no on le keje che price chakiko government e bomodin wa ageshi premise ejala ya anwe na kan no on le
onya tumpo ya kwa aduma ya tuminya nampa won ye du kokro so a profo no so tuminya bi tete o tu kum na obu epum na ya kokum na ya nye na ya nye na nam no mu kwai omo dwane akosoro ya nye na tete ya hu de ya omo na
Mutala po waso mai mu pada.
Omo da ba so mu chacha mpoano fo no. Omo na nsu le mpoano fo no. Ni omo de ba no so a ntokwa so bem. Won ebi me plapla na ade. No omo de omo no call be fufuo no omo ko che. Ska na omo de ba no so omo de ska no man pelu fo no.
Based on the challenges listed by fisher folks, let's take a trip to the Coastal Development Authority, CODA, where we'll speak to a head who will also tell us how best government can come in to solve the issue of plastics in our sea.
I think the first thing is for us to accept that this is a menace that has come to stay and we have to do something about it. And it's the responsible public authority should do something about it. What appears to be happening is that the waste accumulates in the communities or on the beaches. Then some good-spirited people once in a while get together and do something about it, but it is not in a regular public program to clean up. It should become part of our regular environmental sanitation program. The same way we clean markets and other public places, we should take out the responsibility for cleaning the beaches, especially the public beaches. When you go to the private beaches, you don't find that level of filth because somebody has responsibility and make sure the beaches are clean. In the same way, the public beaches, somebody has to take responsibility and the cleaning must become a regular feature. So therefore, for instance, the assemblies responsible for those areas must make adequate budgetary allocations to these things and organize programs to clean up. I do agree that they may not have enough of budgetary allocation, but they should take the lead in organizing such that others could come on board and regularly we clean the beaches. So until we mainstream cleaning of beaches, the problem will remain with us. I really don't think that the local communities should bear the responsibility. Most of the litter or the garbage comes from upstream.
And then some concerns that they raise is that sometimes they clean up because every day you see plastics there. Yep. But then there are no cans where they can dump it. And even with the available ones, they end up paying more. So imagine you gather rubbish which you didn't generate, but then you have to pay like 2 cedis, 1 cedi, 5 cedi for it. So on the back of that, as you stated earlier, the assembly can come on board. But then if there are no cans available, of course, where do you expect that they put their rubbish, which they say they are going to dump it right into the sea?
Municipal waste. It will always flow to the lowest area, and the communities are always in the lowest areas. So they cannot continuously be cleaning up for the guys upstream. I do know that efforts have been made by some organizations to provide some of these things. And I think as the beach menace becomes more and more of a problem, other organizations will come on board. Kuda is currently planning a project to pilot a sustainable clean beach program. The idea is to set a benchmark for others to see what could be done so that sustainably we could start addressing this problem. And provision of some of these things is part of what we're planning to do.
Do you have any timeline for this project that is underway?
We want to, by the end of the year, to be able to start physically putting things down on the ground and rolling it out so that everybody can see that somebody's going to do something about this problem.
So one would say that government will be doing its best. People who live around the coastal areas too, they will say they clean up the beaches. But on the back of single use of plastic, which has been a major issue, because every time plastics are being generated, people are using it single use. Some people have called for the ban, others too are saying that we should regularize it. But then what do you think that Ghana can do in solving this whole issue of plastic?
We should deal with the issue of plastic waste the same way we deal with all waste. It will always be generated, and as such it must be processed into another form, either for disposal or for recycling. Every single day. Plastics will always be used. We need them in our life. But then we must identify that after we use them, they turn into a form which is not useful to us. So we have to then mainstream this business of plastic waste recycling or proper disposal. For a long time, we've just chosen to neglect it, but we can't. Now it's become so big a problem that with the markets, we sweep the markets every day. In the same way, we must develop a program for all the beaches, all the locations, everywhere. And then those responsible, we have to encourage them to take it up and then work on it on a continuous basis. It is a daily problem. So we just have to accept that as a problem, and we have to plan and implement programs to deal with it continuously.
So you're preaching recycling, so plans.
Recycling is one. What I'm actually preaching is accepting that it is an issue that will not go away. So we have to plan for it, and every single day of our life take actions to reduce that. I, for instance, think that the assemblies, you know, the assemblies are assessed every year. There's a certain evaluation they do for them. They check certain things. I think for every assembly that has a beach, the state of cleanliness of the beach should become one of the assessment indicators. The same way they check the state of the markets and then the public toilets, the beaches should be. It should. And once you place that responsibility on them and they realize that there will be a systematic assessment every year, they will do something about it. I don't think there's any new thing required. We have all the laws and then the regulations and whatever is required to keep our country clean already on the books. We also have institutions, agencies, individuals with mandates to enforce these things. If we just start enforcing our existing environmental sanitation rules and regulations, that basically alone will wipe out more than half of the problem. I can assure you. So it's the wake-up call should be for all of us who are supposed to be doing some kind of work in this direction to do our work, and for those who are supposed to be whipping us into line to also whip us into line. And like I said, I think the assembly should be held responsible for this beach waste thing. We must have a way of naming and shaming those who are not doing what they should be doing. And of course, we need help from media, civil society, all other advocacy groups to drum home the fact that if you generate waste and you don't deal with it, you will eventually end up living in a bola. It's as simple as that. What I'm actually preaching is accepting that it is an issue that will not go away. So we have to plan for it, and every single day of our life take actions to reduce that. I, for instance, think that the assemblies, you know, the assemblies are assessed every year. There's a certain evaluation they do for them. They check certain things. I think for every assembly that has a beach, the state of cleanliness of the beach should become one of the assessment indicators. The same way they check the state of the markets and then the public toilets, the beaches should be. They should. And once you place that responsibility on them and they realize that there will be a systematic assessment every year, they will do something about it.
I agree to that too. And then away from plastics, I know Koda is more helping people along the coastal areas when it comes to development. One of the issues that they raised, fisher folks, was that during the close season, things become very hard because they don't go fishing where they can cater for their family and all that. So they've made a call to authorities that during that time they need help. Help not in just maybe a bag of rice or tomatoes and then you are done. So looking at the bigger picture, it looks like maybe every year we'll have a close season. So what do you think can be done for these coastal dwellers?
The closing of the season is a very good thing. I mean, it allows the resource to regenerate. So ultimately, they benefit from it. But like all other human enterprises, as we work, we save. We know that there are times that we will not be able to be making income immediately. So I think people should come to the realization that it is a necessary thing that they allow the fish stock to regenerate during a certain time. And as such, they must plan for that time. Whatever they make in the 11 months, they must set something aside, knowing that there's going to be 1 month where, it won't happen.
So I want to find out as Koda, if you have embarked on any projects that has been beneficial to these coastal dwellers. At least give us a general view of what you have done, your contribution so far.
Koda has done a lot under its IPEP program, Infrastructure for Poverty Eradication program. I mean, needs assessment was carried out at the early stages where coastal dwellers indicated what their priorities were. Some of those priorities were taken on board, and Koda implemented projects to bring those priorities to life. Koda also started, and in fact is still engaged in, a massive support program to fisherfolk, where we have a outboard motor subsidy program. You see, that fishermen who have need of engines for their boats can come to Koda. Once we identify that you are truly a fisherman, there's a massive subsidy. It's about 50% of the cost of the engine that is given to the fisher folks as support. And it's not just the engine, it's a whole program. It is the engine, it is a maintenance support program, it's a training program for how they will keep these things running very well and all that. So that is a huge support. I think there are about 5,000 engines that have been procured to support fisher folk, all the way from Axim running in front of Accra to Keta. So that is a very direct support.
Fisher folks say they are ever ready to partner with government and other private organizations to ensure that our beaches are clean and safe. They have listed a tall list of challenges facing them, right from all the things that they went through during the close season and how best governments can help to ensure that they catch more fishes instead of plastic. To you at home, in your offices, in your workplace, do well to properly dispose your waste in order not for it to end up right back into the sea. Be a citizen and not a spectator. We all can join hands to ensure that plastic waste is disposed of properly. My name is Colina Deda Okuku, reporting for GhanaWeb.
Again, Charlie, if today is your first time on my YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to share with your friends. So guys, you are wondering where I am, right? Yes, I'm right here in the Madina market, and as part of celebrating 24,000 subscribers, I'm here with God's GH, and what we are going to do is we are going to sell tomatoes. But this time around, anyone who is ready to buy our tomatoes, we are going to give it to them for free. When you get tomato, what are you going to use for? With spicy goat. Okay, so she's going to use it for Ghana jollof with some spicy goat. So guys, you're coming with me at this one. Let's go right into the video. You got to let it go. 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 2 CDs, 2 CDs. Baby, 1 CD. 2 CDs. Baby, 1 CD. On tomatoes. I don't think so. They're not ready to buy. Maybe they're scared of the camera. Mommy, tomatoes. I'm okay. Hey, I think you should give them a class. Yeah. I mean, they try. Baby, I want to sweetie tomatoes. Hey, except for coronavirus. Sweetie pie. Hey, sweetheart, come and buy tomatoes. Hey, I'm not able to. I think it's the English. So guys, at the moment, we've been here for like a minute and no one is buying our tomatoes. No, they don't know the secret. They don't know we are giving to them for free. They don't know. I think we should start telling them. It's free! Free tomatoes! I don't think they know. Hey, they don't believe. They don't believe. Auntie, my mommy needs tomatoes, so I can take some home. Oh, that's fair. One day, free tomatoes. Free tomatoes. It's real. Ghanaians, I don't think Ghanaians like it. Sweetie pie. It's free tomatoes. Hey, I'm okay. It's Jesus. Mommy. Baby, free. Baby, free. Amo. Sweetheart, free tomatoes. Hello. Daddy. Mommy, free tomatoes. Don't say free tomatoes. Come. Like you come. Just like, what are these girls doing? Tomatoes. Also tomatoes. They're doing it now. No, what happened? You see the lady who's selling the tomatoes. I think they need to stand far away. Tomatoes. What the? Hey, bruh. I think you're going. Oh, go too much. Tomatoes. Free tomatoes. Hey, it's weekend over stew. Free tomatoes. Free tomatoes. Mommy, free tomatoes with the prepare. Oh, come out. Come. Hey. I don't believe it. Tomatoes, free tomatoes. Free tomatoes, oh. It's gas corona. Free, mommy. Tomatoes. Come. The tomato kiosk corona. Oh, why? You won't cook jollof today.
Mommy.
Come. Free tomatoes.
Free. Jesus Christ.
This is very interesting.
It's harder than I thought.
Yeah, it's very, very hard. I think the fact that it's free, they don't like, it's difficult to believe.
They don't believe.
But here's the case, we are going to give to them for free.
Mommy, free tomatoes. I think people are saying tomatoes. I'm not in those, free in those.
I think we should go out there and go and get them.
You think so?
Mama, tomatoes.
I think I should call some of my people. They will come to town. Hey. Okay, I'm tired.
We are frustrated market women because nobody is buying. Nobody also wants free tomatoes.
Mommy, tomatoes.
Mommy, tomatoes.
Mommy, free tomatoes.
Free, bra. Mommy, bra.
Tomatoes free.
This one. 5 cities. 5 cities. I'm sure 5 cities.
We've already paid for it.
Come. Hey! Free tomatoes.
Okay, I think I'm losing. Mommy, tomatoes.
Yomo. Yeah, 5 cities.
Okay, for you. Thank you.
You need a black rubber.
Black. You need a black rubber. Yeah.
How much is the small one? The small one is 2 cities. I should add 2 cities. Okay. Let's add 2 cities.
You can see your tomatoes. You pack all the cities.
Oh, no, don't worry. I'll change it for you. You are my special person. Okay, no problem.
Tomatoes.
I should give you, so choose the one you want.
Hey, I'm going to law.
Oh, sorry. Choose.
I'm going to law. Free tomatoes.
Thank you. 7 cities. Okay. Bring me black rubber. No, this one.
No, you said 2 cities.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, that one big enough. The rubber big enough.
Let me give you the big ones.
Hey. Yeah. See, the rest ones under is for me. Or you forget?
Because I added the big ones. You can add it. Today is my birthday, so I'm sharing free tomatoes, so you don't have to buy it. So, yeah, so you can keep the money. It's for my small boy. Use it for jollof and goat. You two want some, eh? Okay.
Why is nobody by free tomatoes? By force. By tomatoes. How much is the garlic?
The garlic. Why 2 cities? Garlic here, 2 cities. 2 cities.
Which one? Marco. 1 city.
Thank you.
Give me one. I wish you don't need that one. She's selling.
Okay. What's your name?
I think your sweetie tomatoes. It's real.
Yeah.
What's it?
Today is my birthday, so I'll pay. You're welcome. I'll pay. 5 cities. Okay.
She have free tomatoes. I don't understand. Mama, hey, mommy, tomatoes. It's real. It's free. And I'm in Kaibe.
Thank you so much.
Sweetheart.
Subscribe to the channel. Yeah. You want black rubber? Please give me black rubber. Let's do anti-black rubber. Yes. What are you cooking today?
Mommy, tomatoes. What's mine here?
She's cooking jollof.
5 city owner. Jollof. 2 million.
Hey, I tell you. 8 cities. 4 cities.
Mr. Please.
Mr. Rubber. Find me my black rubber. Black rubber. Subscribe. The rubber is refusing to rubber. I'm not on mine. 2 CD, 3 CDs. And then birthday. I said coronavirus. You don't 5 CD wine. I said I'm on here, Toby. Oh, you can't late. Okay, Atima. Jollof. Who wants to meet me? My way. Maybe Kaka. Oh, we are the day. Oh, we are the day. Let's time with the more, Beba. Oh, my God.
My idea is to the channel. Subscribe to the channel.
Hello, me. Wow. It was cool. So guys, I mean, this lady, she offered to give her us her spot. She's called Auntie Lizzie. So whenever you find yourself in Medina Market, it's just behind the techno board. Come and buy tomatoes from her. Tell her I sent you here. And so thank you, my Lizzie. What Bibika? Okay. And then there's when we made her still. So yeah, so that brings us to the end of this video. Thank you so much. This challenge was with the Gags GH.
Do well to support them by subscribing to their YouTube channel. They do comedy and street interviews. You love their channel. Head on to their channel and show them some love. This was us scouting for where to film this. It was really interesting. Guys, let me know in the comment section, did you enjoy watching this video as much as I enjoyed filming? If you loved it, let me know. And let me know if you like more of this. And so, yeah, it was my first experience, and I must say it was so fun together with the Gags GH. Let me know in the comment section if you loved it. And I also want to say a big thank you all to all my subscribers. Thank you so much for the love and support. It's 30K loaded. Road to 30K. Do well to keep sharing my videos. Share. Like. Comment. Thank you so much for the love. 30K, here we come. I love you all. Cheers. Have a good week.
On behalf of the Chartered Institute of Marketing in Ghana, I would want to congratulate GhanaWeb on your 22 solid years of existence. I know it's not easy for any organization to be 22 years and still counting, with the kind of reputation that you've enjoyed, even though there have been some flaws. I guess you've done very well. You've added value to advertisers, especially Chartered Institute of Marketing in Ghana, in terms of visibility, whether eyes or ears. I would want to congratulate you. We would want to see more enhanced, what they call it, benefits and products that you could churn out for your clients going forward in the next 22 years.
For persons living with disabilities, especially in our parts of the world, one of their biggest concerns is acceptance. And even for those who are able to break through, society doesn't quite have enough space to welcome them. Today on The Untold, we speak to Mr. Alex Tete, who from the streets of Tulaku in Ashaman has risen to a level where today he's traveled all the continents of the world. From this very shack right here in Tulaku, today he lives a comfortable life and now encourages people and persons living with disability to strive more for their lives. Come along with us as we hear the intriguing story of this man who has broken through the lines of society that hamper the livelihoods of persons living with disability. It's The Untold here on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Eche Atisu. Come along.
It's God. It has not been easy. So we give thanks to God.
He weeps. His tears, however, are not for the dead, but for a man who lives. Neither does he cry out of pain, but joy. He looks at the boy whom he once watched taking careful steps barefooted to and from school daily, and wonders what would have become of that little boy if he had succeeded in convincing his parents to take him out of school.
When he completed his elementary here, he was not satisfied. He edged on he went to Africa Advance. He was not holding a support. You see him outside the gate, you will see him passing. When he sees me, sir, all the time, I feel for him, suffering. But he is not perturbed. One day, he was coming with his books. I don't know what happened. He fell. Quickly, he woke up. He struggled to wake up. He parted off his the dress and so I'm going to come. I had some feeling in me. The second time, I was at the gate. He was passing. So I said, I'm going to come over. Then I beckoned him, come. He came, said, good morning. I said, good morning, how are you? Alex, why are you suffering? Why are you worrying yourself? All the time struggling, school education. Your friends learn trade and they are stationed, they work on to make a living. Why do you struggle? Then he laughed at the side of his mouth. He said, I didn't understand. I said, oh, sir, I'm going to school and come. He forced, and today, I've seen why he did so.
But that boy holds no grudges because he believes Ifo Ime's attempts to end his education was out of sympathy and not hatred.
Told my mother that, why do you worry your son to walk in the rain and in the sun, go to school? Get a kiosk for him, get some shoe making, and let him sit at one place and mend shoes for people. That will be more fulfilling than the way you let him stress. Because sometimes every day I sit by my house, when I see him pass by, I cry within me how he suffers, go to school and come back home. Then my mother said, no, it's only education. This thing will not take him anywhere. He can't marry out of this. You see, he has to go to school. So I was not worried at all. Each time I pass by the man, I greet him. I make sure he sees me going. Even though I go through that pain, the goal ahead of me didn't allow me to be discouraged at all. I was so determined to be able to make it.
Alexander Tete's determination to complete his education was born out of his mother's words to him the first time he told her he wants to quit schooling.
My mother told me that the state in which I am is only education that can make me strive, because always my mother says that I want to put you in a position where when I'm no more, you can fend for yourself, and it is only through education. So reluctantly, I go to school.
This wooden structure in Tulaku, a slum in Ashaiman, is a place he called home until he got married and moved elsewhere with his wife to start their own family. Though he lives a comfortable life now, he returns to this neighborhood today as he recounts his life's journey.
He's still standing here. Yeah. And you know, it goes through, sometimes it wear off, they replace it. Yeah, they replace it with other wooden, but this is the room where we lived.
And you lived here with your parents?
Oh, with my parents, all my siblings were here. We were five siblings, and we even had other family brothers and sisters who were living with us. My mother's sisters' children, and yeah, all within this. But what happens is that because you know we are within the vicinity, sometimes we don't sleep our room. Sometimes we sleep with friends, but this is where our things were, and this is what we call home. We came in agreement with my wife that we need to relocate from Ashama because Ashama is too hot in terms of character building. If you don't have the resilience and the capacity, your children will go wayward.
At a tender age of 6, Alex Tete contracted polio and became crippled as a result. Believing it was spiritual, his mother moved him from one church, prayer camp, or shrine to another, hoping her son would be healed, but his condition remained the same.
I remember Rehad Bonki came to Tema, to the RCA Park, and my mother carried me at the back, and there was a healing process, and the crowd was so huge. My mother was carrying me, wants to get close to the man of God, the prophets, and it wasn't easy. We got close to, prayed for, but we came back home. I wasn't healed. The intention was that I would be able to walk. There were a lot of people who came there who had crutches, who had wheelchairs, were able to stand. Some have to leave their crutches, but my mother carried me at the back. She tried to put me on the ground so I can stand, but I couldn't stand. So we came home, so disappointed that I couldn't walk. So this process go on every now and then. Every time there's a crusade, my mother wants to carry me there until a friend told my mother to send me to hospital so they can work on my legs. So I went there and they gave me some calipers to hold my leg, and they gave me a wheelchair, and they gave me crutches, and I started to walk. I mean, from the time I got my polio, where it paralyzed me, up to the time I went to the hospital was about 3 years. So when I went to the hospital, I was around 9 years. So that time, I was ready to go to school. So I started school when I was 9 years, class 1. So class 1, because most of the time I was at home, my siblings, my senior brother and the sister come home, and some of the things they are taught at school, they teach me. So I became very sharp, and some of the things that I should learn in the infancy, I learned them at home. So when I went to the class 1, in no time I was jumped from class 1 to class 3. So I didn't attend class 2 at all.
His mother had to shoulder the burden of footing his medical bills, as his father wasn't making much from his small carpentry business.
My mother lost her money, at a point she has to sell her clothing to take care of me, to take care of my medical bills. There was no support. My father was around, but my father is also a mini carpenter. She goes around, repair tables and chairs for people, and out of that we make it. So we were hugely depending on my mother's business. So it wasn't easy. I couldn't even go to the hospital again for review. So my calipers and crutches all got broken.
Without crutches to support him anymore, Alex had to resort to crawling wherever he went, including school.
I remember at school, and nobody would like to sit by me, because when I crawl on the floor, and you can imagine I crawl in the sun, and I became so dirty, very sweaty, and nobody would sit by me, because at the school there's this mono desk where 2 people sit, and I was alone my desk, and nobody would sit by me because of the sweat and the dirt. And I remember I was so sad. I was so sad, and when I came home, I told my mother I won't go to school again, because nobody want to get close to me, and nobody want to play with me. And very young, you love to play. My mother encouraged me to go.
Maybe I'm a senior, I'm machine and engineer, I'm not class.
I was a senior in school, but my brother was his classmate. He either crawled to school or his siblings carried him, and that went on till he started using crutches. Then finally, he started walking like this.
Crutches.
I can see improvement in his life, so I'll encourage the disabled in society not to look down on themselves.
Somebody there say,
He didn't take it lightly being teased, and that made a lot of people avoid him.
Initially, you did not call me a different name apart from my name. I will gather some stones and make sure I hit you. I will chase you up. I will hold your legs, clamp your legs together, and you fall. And when you fall, when I crawl on top of you, you receive some blows. And then the next time you will not do that. So in my area, I was like a terror. So can you imagine? You, the same person, don't have friends. Now, even the few people who are want to play with you, you beat them up. And I was so I was so strong. My upper body was very strong because I crawl. Very strong. So when I hold you, it's difficult for you to release yourself. So this is how it went. And when I accepted my disability, I became a champion. I became so popular. I had a lot of friends. People call me Kakdi, people call me Pozo Hayes and all that. I don't mind.
He went to school with my daughter, and I knew he walked with the aid of crutches. He was very aggressive at the time and even fought with my son by a gutter. I asked my son why he fought him when he knew about his condition. The young people were always teasing him, and in retaliation, he threw stones at them. He's not a bad person. We never expected that he would get to this point in life, and even expect that someone could fall in love with him.
Life became easier for Alex when he finally accepted his condition.
When I accepted my situation and I became happy with it, and I said, whatever the situation is, I would want to become somebody even with my disability. There I began picking up, and I started becoming first in my class. And so there and then I began gaining friends because I started teaching them mathematics. I was very good at maths. I started teaching them some of the subjects and things. So I became very popular. Had a lot of friends. People call me names, and I give them more. I receive the morale and all that.
As time went by, his father made some wooden crutches for him, and he moved around with that. Soon, he was able to move around without the use of the crutches, even though he needed to be careful with his steps.
I managed and I learned how to walk, and the walkings I do is tactics. Tactics. So once I walk, I look on the floor because the floor is not even. So I look at where it slopes, where then I calculate my steps. Places where I'm not able to calculate my step, where I fall. So that is about my life. A few times I sit in the wheelchair when I'm so tired, and also I'm not able to go to long distance. But with the wheelchair, I'm able to do that. I'm also a wheelchair basketball player. Yeah, I do sports. Yeah, I play basketball. So I use the wheelchair. And when I went to further studies in the UK, and you know, the accessibility everywhere is accessible. So I really used the wheelchair when I was there. And if you see me in the UK, in Hammersmith, central London, in the wheelchair, you wouldn't identify me because the speed at which I go. At the point, the police stopped me and say, "Please, the speed is too much." They'll be observing me. The speed is. I'm so excited. I'm so excited because if I look at where I started, somebody who was crawling on the floor, had no hope because your parents don't have it. And where I am, where I can sit with ministers to discuss issues of disability. A few times I've participated in the UN conference, giving presentation. Addis Ababa, I was there. In New York, I was there. Washington, I was there. To participate in UN conferences to discuss policies, global policies. Yeah. So I just praise God and thank God for where He has brought me.
Mr. Tete walked barefooted all his life due to his condition, until a friend encouraged him to try wearing shoes. This was when he was about 20 years old and in secondary school.
I went through the education barefooted until I got to secondary school. And the secondary school, you know, because there's no money, the schooling was like private. I went to Snaps College. And the Snaps College, I did accounting there. And can you imagine, I slept in the school. That was where I began wearing shoes. I met a friend called Okran. And then he said, Alex, you can wear a shoe. Alex, let's go to Kantamanto. Let's give it a try. I said, I don't believe I can wear a shoe. So we went together. And the friend, we got some shoes. Let me try. And I tried a few ones which fit my leg. And then the friend told me, he called Samuel Okan. He said, today you wear the shoe from here to school. So can you imagine walking from Kantamanto to Asalam Down, Snaps College? Formerly that was where it was. And I walked. And when I got to school, all of my legs got bruises. You know, when your legs look fresh. So when you put on that thing, and for 3 days, I couldn't move. I have to remove the shoe and get the wound healed. But when the wound got healed, I put it on again because I said this thing must stop. I have to be able to wear a shoe like anybody else. So after 3 days, when the wound got healed a bit, not totally, but when the pains came down, because when I got the bruises, it became like a small balls around my feet. So when I got healed, all got best and got healed, I wore it again and started practicing and started walking gradually, and then all my feet, that area got hardened, and then I was able to walk to today. It's so amazing how I'm able to wear a shoe, and now I can move to the shoe shop and get a shoe to wear.
Powers and principalities.
There's so much fire inside me.
Tragedy struck when part of the largest hillside at the kosher rubbish dump collapsed.
It's going to be fun to see how he goes about approaching this game.
The owner of the property where Snaps College was first located recounts some memories of Mr. Tete's days at the school.
I took him as my child when he was schooling here and didn't discriminate against him. He used to sleep here with some other students and I had a cordial relationship with all of them. Anytime I cooked for them, people asked if they gave me money for that. And I told them they didn't. They all slept here on mats at night and took their baths to get ready for class when day breaks. He was a good child, very humble, and I didn't see him as disabled. I'm happy anytime I see him. He visits me once in a while when he comes to help students.
Can look near school, they look on the cake,
He went on to get his HND in accounting at Accra Polytechnic after completing SNAPS College, but almost gave up on his education again one rainy day.
All this time, I've been moving from Ashama to Accra for lectures. Moved from Ashama to Accra for lectures. And there was this time, in the morning, the clouds look like it's coming to rain. So I got an umbrella. And when I landed at Tema Station, walking, there's a route from Tema Station to Accra Poly. I was walking in that lane where now AMA has built their offices. There's a lane there. People sell. There's a market there too. And so the rain started with strong wind. And I decided to open the umbrella because I have my books. I have a bag at my back and walking. I walk the way I walk, swing myself. And then before I realized, the wind entered the umbrella and pushed me. And in fact, with my books at my back, I was holding onto the umbrella, and the wind was also blowing the umbrella to get off my hand. And I said, no way, I won't leave this umbrella. We were all on the ground in the rain. In fact, it was one of my saddest moments. Because you see, at that period, nobody was ready to give you assistance. So when the wind subsided, I woke up, put off the umbrella, and I said, the rain should beat me. It's okay for the rain to beat me because I'm already wet and dirtied myself. So when I got to school, I decided to get one of the empty classrooms and sat there. Because I didn't want to go to my colleagues because of how I've messed myself up. And there I cried. In fact, when I got back home, I told my mother and my father that I think that it's okay. It's okay to I told them, why am I going through all these challenges? Is there, where is this leading me? Because at every point in time I go through hell, I go through problems, sometimes trying to do something for myself. I face a lot of challenges, very bitter. And today I couldn't even go to lectures, even though I went right to the school, I couldn't go to lectures because of all this, all that has happened to me. So I don't think that I want to continue the school. My parents cried. After crying together with me, they told me that yes, it is true that I'm going through these problems, but that is the only way I can survive.
Mr. Tete moved to Pando in the Volta region for his national service because he wanted to learn to be fully independent.
I told my parents this time I want to be out of home so that I can experience life. So, and you know, for a person with disability, you are posted anywhere you want to be because they assume that you need some support services. So, but I was asked where I want to be. I said I want to go to Pando. No, I want to go to the Volta region. I said let me go to the Volta region. So they posted me to the Volta region hall, and because I did accounting, I was posted to Pando Audit Service, and that was where life actually began. Yeah, so I learned how to live on my own.
Shortly after his service, he married the love of his life, and they are blessed with 4 children. But convincing her family to allow them get married wasn't an easy task.
So my national service savings, I was able to gather it, and that is what I used to marry my wife. But during the time I was schooling, I met her at church I attend the Church of Christ at Shaman, Accra Road there, and that is where. And I'm a very strong Christian, and because, and in all this I'm saying that Christianity has actually made me who I am. Christianity, because each time I go through challenges, I go through the stress and the problems, I look up to God, and I said, God, I know you are there for me, and I know you'll never leave me until I achieve my goal. So I met her, and she, when I proposed to her, she was confused. She was confused because we were very good friends, and she asked me, but Kojo, I'm a Monday born, they call me Kojo. In a house, I'm called Kojo. He said, oh, Kojo, is it a joke? But we are brothers. I said, oh, what? We are brothers. Are you the second born of my mother? I'm serious. So it was so many years, but I mean, I kept on because I attempted a relationship before, but the family, I got to know early that the family wouldn't accept. Because what happened is that lady, sister, also married a disabled person. So the mother says, Abba, is it a taboo? That is it a case? That all my two girls should marry disabled people? Why? As for this one, they don't agree. So I said, no problem. No problem. I married my wife, even though there was a few resistance. My wife's mother's family, because the mother passed on, so the mother's family were not agreeing to it. But the father said, this young man, I see in him a very good husband, a very good in-law. So for me, he can marry my daughter. I had a lot of support from him, and I married my wife. That was in 1999, 5th December 1999. I married my wife, and we are blessed with 4 children, 2 girls, 2 boys. The first 2 are in the university. The first one, Major in Tete, is at Tech. He's doing geography. He's in the 2nd year. And the second one, Rose Tete, is at Telecom University. He's doing computer engineering. And then the third one is a boy. He's at the GHS 3. And then the last one, class 1. That's the pension baby Elom Tete. So life is about how you make it, how determined you are. And if you are determined and with God's support, you can actually make it.
After his national service, he got his first job as an accountant at Sutrek Meets Ghana Limited. From there, he moved to the Ghana Society for Persons with Disabilities as National Director. Today, he runs his own organization, Center for Employment for Persons with Disabilities, and has 3 permanent employees. His aim? To reduce the number of persons with disabilities begging on the streets.
So I'm an employee of the local government service where I am posted to the Tema West Assembly. My organization, I volunteer for the organization. So I have staff that I've employed 3 staff who are every day in the office, and they work. And because I also work, I don't go there. I receive reports of their work, and also we have meetings to discuss activities of the organization. Basically, the organization is a non-governmental organization. It's not a profit-making organization. And what we do is to empower persons with disabilities in Ghana through vocational skills, employment, and livelihood support. And so we collaborate with other agencies and other government institutions. My work at Assembly is also enhanced by the work that I do in the disability organization. I'm able also to mobilize disabled people within the Tema municipality and the metropolis, and we're able to embark on a lot of activities that improve on their lives.
He has traveled to at least one country in all 5 continents of the world, a reality he never dreamed of as a child.
I've traveled to the participated in conferences and programs because of my advocacy for persons with disabilities.
From this shack?
Yeah, from this shack. Yeah.
So all the continents of the world?
All the continents. I don't know. I've been to Asia, I've been to America, I've been to Denmark, South America. I've been to Nicaragua. You know, that was in 2005. It was the longest journey, 13-hour journey crossing the Atlantic Ocean. It was so tiring. Yeah. And so that has been great, and I was awarded, including other people. I remember Roland Walker was one of the guys who was awarded on that day. Yeah. So, and so people in Ashama, the youth of Ashama, recognize my work, even though I scarcely visit them now. They recognize that I come from Ashama. And just this week, one of the guys in Ashama called me that it's about time we do a homecoming, where a few guys who have lived in Ashama have to come together and see how we can develop Ashama, because Ashama is in a mess now. Ashama is in a mess now, and other people have come to live in the area and have given the area a bad name. But back in our days, even though Ashama has all the bad names, we were like a community. You know, even though there are a few bad guys, we were like a community, and we were striving. But now it's not like that.
The man who once lost use of both legs now has driving as a hobby.
The fact that I'm able to drive myself was a great thing for me, because I'm able to move and I'm able to control my life. I began by somebody driving me, and it's been really difficult when every time you have to call the person and to come and drive you. Initially I wasn't paying the person, and so it was like a kind of a pro bono service, and sometimes you can't get a person to drive you and then you are stuck. So when I'm able to drive, I began, and I could see that I'm able to drive. I was so excited. So driving is a fun. I drive to Kumasi. I drive long distance to Ho. I drove to Donkokrom, from Plains and all that. I drive to Cape Coast myself. Yeah. So driving is actually a fun.
Whilst encouraging persons with disabilities not to look down on themselves, Alexander Tete expressed profound gratitude to his family for all their support during his trying moments.
Sometimes we look at the challenges and then we forget, we don't open our eyes to the opportunities that are open to us. I've met a lot of people in my life who have supported me here and there, and I've met a lot of discouragement in my life too. But because I am me and I want to get to a goal, I don't allow the discouragements. I use the discouragement as a stepping stone to move ahead, because I know that when I move to the next level, this discouragement that you are talking about or you are facing me with will be the thing of the past. I had a lot of family support. My brother, my sister, who was our firstborn, almost always carries me to school. Sometimes carries me to school because I crawl, and when I crawl to school I'm dirty. She would decide to carry me to school before she also go to school, and I owe her a lot of gratitude. She has really supported me. And our second born, I'm the third born. Our second born is also a male guy, and that guy very strong. He can fight. So you dare not cheat me or do anything against me. If he comes around, he will make sure he beats you mercilessly. So nobody messes up with me. All these are all the supports that I had from them. And my father, so fantastic. I'm the only person who speaks Ewe. My father is an Ewe. I'm the only person who speaks Ewe with my father. My father was so supportive, so supportive. One thing he never encouraged me to do was to pursue his job, carpentry. Each time he tells me, no, this job is not good for you. This job is for people who have legs, not for you. I said, Daddy, I'll make it. There's a lot of persons with disabilities who decide to end up their life. I want to encourage them that if you end your life, what do you gain? You have to make it. You can make it wherever situation you find yourself. Other colleagues who beg on the street, it's not dignifying. You can do something with your hand. Even if you are not educated, you can really do something.
That's the story of Mr. Alex Tete, and we are grateful that you've joined us. We hope that it inspires you, as we always do here on The Untold. We hope that your lives are transformed from joining us on this edition. Until next time, my name is Eche Atisu. Do remember to follow us on GhanaWeb. Go to www.ghanaweb.com for all stories on our website.
I would want to congratulate management and staff for how far they've come. GhanaWeb is the biggest portal in Ghana and even in outside Ghana as well. For the people outside Ghana, this is their go-to portal. And anybody outside Ghana will tell you that GhanaWeb is where they get their source of news from. I've had friends who are residing outside Ghana, and anytime there's news about me, and this time it's about me, they hit me up and say, oh, I read this story about you on GhanaWeb, I read this story about you. So it tells me that it is the #1 portal for everybody else, for both of us in Ghana and outside. So I would want to congratulate the management and staff for the work that you've done over the years. And I wish you guys well. I pray for strength, for success, for favor, and for special grace, that you guys will live on to be 50, 70, and 100 years. Congratulations to you guys.
No doubt that this year has been one of her best years yet. Our guest for today has one of the hottest bangers on our airwaves, both locally and internationally. I personally call her the Black Avenue Music poster girl. Let me not spill too much about her. Let's unravel our guest after this quick break. My name is Elsie Lamar, and you are watching Talkatainment on GhanaWeb TV. Welcome back from that quick breather. You just joined in, you're watching Talkatainment on GhanaWeb TV, and as usual, this show is proudly brought to you by Cheesy Pizza.
Cheesy Pizza has all you want from juices, smoothies, jollof, fried rice, spaghetti and meatballs. We have great deals for you all week round. Cheesy Pizza gives you the McCheesy combo every Monday and Thursday. With only 49 cedis, you get one small size of pizza, fries, chicken, Coca-Cola at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Tuesdays are Super Tuesdays at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Buy your Super Family Pizza at half price every Tuesday for 40 cedis at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Be a part of the midweek bonanza every Wednesday. Buy and get one free at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Also remember to start your weekend with special jollof and fried rice from all Cheesy Pizza branches. Call 0264 133 397 0264 133 397 to place your order. Cheesy Pizza, your way. And our guest is here. You know her, you've seen her, you've heard her songs. Her songs are everywhere, and we have Sefa.
Hi, you know Grandma Papa, Cheesy Pizza. Hey, wow. You're doing amazing. Thank you very much. Thank you.
But I'm a local. I'm just a local LA girl. I guess you're an LA girl too.
Number 9 for life.
You speak it. You speak
it. Just a little. But I can speak it. What do you want to say?
F1.
Do you want us to insult the producers?
Oh.
No problem.
Speak and show.
Akwafa.
Okay.
Wacha.
Metro who?
Oh wow! I went to school in
Ho West.
Yeah. Oh nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's nice.
So you're welcome.
I'm fine, thank you. Oh, thank you again.
You look good.
Thank you.
I
You
like
look
the
amazing
new
too.
color.
Thank you.
Charlie, what's up? What have you been up to?
For now, I've just been moving around promoting my song as usual. Interviews here and there, shows here and there, and also I released a new song featuring Sarkodie, so I'm promoting that one too at the moment. So that's what I think I've been up to.
Okay. Yeah. Ichok, let's talk about Ichok. Ichok, were you expecting this huge success?
I mean, for every creative, when you put out something, you expect it to go far. So I was expecting it to go far, but I didn't know it would come at this short pace. Because I was like, okay, when we release this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and maybe like in a year or like some few months to come. But Ichok picked up within the first month and it was doing amazing, still doing amazing. I'm getting videos from other countries that is not Ghana. So Ichok, I think, is God. God is moving it from level to level.
Aside from God, what do you think was the magic?
I think people, I honestly think, personally, I think people love my alter ego. That is the Sefa, Sugar Sefa, like the danceable song Sefa. They like the moving of the body Sefa. So I think that's what people are attracted to more when it comes to my brand and the type of music I do. So I think that was the little spark on top of it for me. And I think people were also excited to see me dance because they were like, oh, okay, now she's dancing. Oh, that's amazing. So yeah.
I think you are right when you said that, because when you release Sugar, I think it had the same, vibe and energy attached to it. People liked it a lot, but it didn't go as far as Ichok.
Yes.
What do you think you didn't do with the Sugar song?
I think with Ichok, because of the period in which the song came about, people could relate to it more. Sugar did amazing, especially when I go to the rural areas, the villages and stuff like that. They sing it. In other countries too, they sing it. But I think because Sugar didn't have any dance challenge with it, Ichok was around the period where everybody was on TikTok, everybody was dancing, and TikTok really moves your songs if you use it well. Do you understand? So I think that's how come people think Ichok moved faster than Sugar.
And then Ichok, I think there was this term. The Ichok is a term actually that people use. So I think it's relatable to it.
Yeah.
Okay, moving from Ichok, people know you as Sefa. They know you as entertainer. They know you as that sweet girl who's always like storming our stages here and there. But they don't know much about you in terms of you growing up and all that. Can you tell us something brief about yourself?
So my mom is a Northerner and my dad is an Ewe. I come from a very sweet family. My family, we are very quiet. We just mind our businesses. So I'm sure you will not even hear about us that much. And I went to Ola Girls.
Oh,
yes,
I went to Malco Girls.
Oh wow! Hi sister. I went to Ola Girls, and then from there I went to Methodist University and then to Accra Technical University. and it's been music from there onwards. Then my personal life is a little bit boring, so I mean I don't like to talk about it that much.
Oh, I see. So growing up from a typical Ewe home, I know my people.
Yes.
And trust me,
Yeah.
they're all about their books and
Go
the
to school.
church.
Yeah.
Books, church, books,
Yeah.
church. Was your childhood like that?
You know, luckily for me, my dad is a human rights activist. Like, so he believes in, follow your dreams, do what makes you happy and stuff like that. But you know, from the beginning, he was more of like, oh, you're good in school, why don't you go to school, become like a businesswoman or something, because I mean you're already getting the certificate and everything.
Yeah.
Why waste it and stuff like that. My mom was there since day one, supportive. When I even have to go and perform on the streets, she would be the one to help me sneak out and stuff like that. So my dad came around at a point where he felt like, is this what you really want to do? And I was like, yeah, that's what I really want to do. And I was like, okay, let's just go for it. So even my contract with Black Avenue Music, he signed it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, my dad signed it. So they've been supportive since the beginning.
Almost every singer talks about the fact that they've had to, at a point in time, sing in church.
Yeah.
Was your story any different, or you had
No,
the same story?
It wasn't. I just think that for me, it all began like when we were very young. My mom used to tell me, oh, you can sing, go and sing, go and sing, go and sing. So anytime the first time I did it, like people came to give me money. You know, the elders, when they see any young person, like they spend money on you and stuff like that. And I like that. I love that a lot. So I kept on doing it. But I think my mom saw the potential from way when I was young. She even made me realize that I had a voice to sing. I didn't even know that I had a voice to sing. So I think that's how it started for me. It started from church, right? From 7 years.
Okay. So let's talk about schooling. Did you at any point in time expect that a time will come that you would pursue music?
Not really. Not really. Even way back in SHS, I never used to sing. I was so scared of people hearing me sing, because I wasn't very sure of myself. Because you know, I like being left with myself.
Yeah.
I love my private life, and I knew that being in the music industry is going to take all that away from me. But then, I mean, what God plans is what's going to happen. What God says is going to happen is what's going to happen. I never dreamed of being in the music scene, but now here we are. So
nice. Moving away from all of that, let's talk about live here at BAM, Black Avenue Music. How has it been for you so far?
It's been amazing. The learning process for me especially has been great, because I've learned a lot from Black Avenue Music. When I joined Black Avenue Music, I mean, all I knew was that I wanted to sing. I wanted to stand and sing. But now I'm getting to know more about the entertainment industry. I'm getting to learn more about the business, entertainment or music as a business and not just as a hobby. So Black Avenue Music has really taught me a lot.
So are you the only one on the record label?
Now it's just me and then my boss, D Black. We are the only artists on the record label now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But before you joined, there were other artists.
Yeah, I was there, and then Sam came to join me. So I've always been there. Yeah.
Would you agree that you are the Black Avenue Music poster girl?
Oh, really? Oh, really? Thank you. Thank you for telling me.
But would you agree to that, though?
Yeah. Well, if you say so.
Oh, yeah, your boss's favorite.
I don't think I'm my boss's favorite. I just think I put in a lot of work. So, and my boss is somebody, he's very business minded. And when he sees somebody who is very hardworking and who has the talent, he tends to push you with everything that he has. So it's more of like he has seen a great investment and he's just trying to push the investment. But it has nothing to do with favoritism or anything like that. Yeah.
Okay. More like you're daddy's girl.
I mean, I'm everybody's girl. I'm everybody's girl. Even your cameraman, I'm his girl. Everybody sees me and calls me baby girl, and I like that. I prefer that to any other title. So yeah.
Were you expecting the car gift, or it came as a surprise?
I wasn't. It was a surprise. It was a surprise, actually. It was.
So how did you feel?
I was like, oh wow, that's nice. You know, I don't know how to behave when I'm surprised. So it's like, because I'm not really an emotional person and I don't like to show a lot of emotion. So when I said, I was like, okay, right now, should I cry? Should I be happy? Should I roll or something? But it was a surprise and I loved every bit of it, because I had my family there. I had my people that I work with that are now family to me, and it was a great moment for me.
Describe your boss in one word.
Business minded.
Okay.
Business minded. That's actually 2 words, right? So business. Business. Yeah.
But what would ever make you part ways with BAM?
When it comes to parting ways with Black Avenue Music, it can always it might be if I'm done with my contract, or if the label and I come to an agreement that okay, a better offer has come, and then you have to move on to the another side. Because with me, I feel like Black Avenue Music is more like a family to me now. It's not about just the business. It's more, I have people that are way invested in me than even people that are closer to me. Do you understand? So it's more of like a business for me, a family for me now. So just parting ways, I won't just stand up and say, okay, I'm leaving. It has to be, okay, she's done with her contract, or she's moving to a better deal. Yeah.
Okay. Moving away from that, you have been in this industry for a while. How long have you?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. You must have been through a lot. You've experienced a lot. You've grown through all these years. I'd like to find out, have you had any down moments at any point in time? If yes, how did you get out of it? What happened? So other people watching you could pick a cue from your story.
All the time. When you are very passionate about something, like, you tend to worry about it a lot, because you know a lot of people who watch from the outside will not understand what you are going through, because you are the one passionate about it. Do you get it? And I have a problem with people thinking that okay, once you're in front of the media, or once people get to know you, you don't have the right to feel some sort of emotions, because you know I can wake up one time and I'm not in the mood for anything. I feel like very down, and I'm allowed to feel that because I'm human. But then I have to come out and smile with people. I have to come out and act like everything is okay. Oh, I'm happy, everything is fine. I think that is one of the most challenging things that people don't talk about, especially those in the limelight, because we all have feelings like you guys. We go through things. We wake up one day and it's like, nah, I don't feel motivated to even do this. Do you understand? And then on top of it all, you come online and you see people insulting you for something so small, something so little. It's like, why am I even here? But you know, when the same passion that drives you nuts is the same passion that will keep you going, because you keep working for it, and you know one day people are going to believe in what you also believe in. So yeah, just keep on believing. That is the only thing. And keep on praying to God to console you, because nobody is going to believe when you tell them you are going through stuff. So you just have to just be happy about it.
Speaking of that, what's like the worst thing you've ever heard about yourself that you had to double think whether it was me they were referring to or it's someone else actually?
Oh, there was this time I went on Twitter and I saw that somebody was like, oh, D Black is wasting his money on Sefa because he's investing so much and we are not even seeing anything. When I saw that, I was very hurt. I was so hurt, and I didn't reply the person too, but I feel like people don't know, as I said earlier, people don't know what you go through behind the scenes. They don't know the late nights. They don't know how hard it is when you sit down in the studio and you're cracking your brain, or how to even get prepared to go out and say hello to those same people that are bashing you. Do you get it? People don't know what happens behind the scenes. So the fact that somebody hasn't blown up to your expectation doesn't mean that the person is not trying enough. Probably it's just not my time. You know, before Ichok, people knew me, oh, Sugar Sefa, or Dayo Sefa, and things like that. But now, when it's your time, right, people will naturally warm up to you. It's going to come. You don't even have to force it. So I think people were not seeing it before because it wasn't my time. And when it's not your time, there's nothing you can do about it. And it's not about somebody wasting their money on you, or somebody not making you big enough or rich where you want to be or something like that. I just feel like people just need to have a little bit of patience when it comes to things like this and the kind of things that they say. I'm somebody, I don't care and I don't mind if somebody says, oh, you're ugly, or this dress you're wearing is, because that one, they're just mediocre stuff. You can do whatever you want to do. You can say whatever you want to say about my looks and everything. But when it comes to my passion and my hard work, I get very emotional because I feel like people don't understand it. And the worst part is that when you try to talk about, they're like, oh, emotional artists. That one just kills me the most.
Okay, I'm sure starting you were underground for a while before you came you shot to the light. I'm sure you've had people walk up to you and say at a point in time that why are you wasting your time doing music, because you've spent quite a while and then we've not seen anything. Did you get any of such messages, and how did you handle it?
Surprisingly for me, I never got such messages. Most of the times I got, oh, don't worry, we'll be fine, or don't you think you want to try, like, do something else and attached to the music or something. But nobody has ever told me, oh, you have to up and go, because first of all, I won't give you the opportunity to say that. Because I mean, the people around you should motivate you to follow your passion more, because that's how that's the only place that you feel safe to be yourself. So I never really got such comments like that.
Okay, so let's go back to the Ichok song. There were rumors that people actually thought the song was for Drew. How did you feel about that?
Well, we are both artists. Drew contributed to the song. I also contributed to the song. I'm somebody, I don't get fazed by rumors or what people say. I know the song is mine. If people say it's for Drew, that's fine. As long as it's still going, it's moving, I don't mind. Because when you go on Apple Music, it's my name that is there. But if you think it's for Drew, it's still fine. He's an amazing artist. He's on the song, so it's partly his. So I don't really mind.
Okay, and people started to tag you with him saying you guys have a thing going on. Would you like to clarify that?
Oh, Drew and I have a vibe. We have a vibe. Like right now that I'm sitting here, if you walk in right now, the kind of noise that will go on here, it's like chaos. He and I, our vibe is something that I love a lot. I always say I love it because he gets me into that hyper mood, and I like that a lot about him.
So it's just like on a friendship level.
Yeah, we just have a vibe.
Bestie.
He's not really my bestie, but we have a vibe. We are really we are pretty close, and anytime we meet, because of the sort of vibe I have with him, you might think something is going on, but we are super cool.
Let's talk about fashion. I've seen you feature in Salma Moment's new Lil by Salma. Yeah, and I've gone through your pictures on social media. I've seen you're quiet. You have a great fashion sense.
Thank you very much.
So have you ever considered modeling?
Not really. No, not really.
Why?
I've not. I mean, from the beginning, right? People used to say, "Oh, you have long legs. You should try modeling." So I love taking pictures when I want to, but I feel like once I tag myself with that model thing, then it becomes like work, and I can't just wake up one day and say, no, today I don't feel like taking pictures, because you're a model. That's what you do for a living. So I like to take pictures at my own free time when I feel like it. Do you understand? So I've never really considered modeling, but if I mean the kwacha is good and everything, I might add it to something. Yeah.
Speaking of the kwacha, are you good now? You feel like now you're okay, comfortable in terms of money? Are you making money?
I feel like now I make more than grass, which I'm very grateful to God for. I make more than grass now, and I'm very ambitious, so I'm always wanting more. I'm Oliver Twist. I want more. So if you ask me now that I feel like I'm okay, no, I'm not. I'm not content with what I have now. I want more, so I'm working for more. As compared
to before?
Yes.
But as compared to before, you are okay?
As compared to before, I'm making more than grass. I'm happy about it.
We thank God for that.
This love is choke, no we joke, it choke, cause this love is choke, no we joke, it choke.
It's say I did it. Oh, wow.
Hey, boy, see dede. Girls, so yen chile. Mupe dede. Yes, so yen chile. Boy, see dede. Yes, so yen chile. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that was the far right then. It's time to munch on our pizza, and yes, I have to be careful with this. Ooh, okay. So there we go. Safa, we have pizza here.
Thank you for giving me pizza.
This from Cheesy Pizza. It's actually assorted meats, and let me help you with one.
Thank you.
There you go.
Oh, this looks very good.
Yeah, it tastes better actually. Hey, my pizza na seeing you.
Pizza na peme nkwa.
Okay.
Now this is very it's very good, guys. Very good.
So let's cheers.
Oh, cheers. They didn't tell me I was time to enjoy.
Oh yeah.
Next time you should tell me early. Wow.
Okay, so let's go on. Lately, we've had a number of unfortunate incidents happening in the entertainment industry, back to back. I'm sure you have been picking a cue from it. What lessons have you drawn personally from your perspective? What have you learned?
I've just picked that I need to work harder on myself as an individual and also work hard on my music. And I mean, like, with people like the people you mentioned, I think they are very strong people, and to the extent that they've worked so hard that they even have people defending them without them talking. That is something that I'm always aiming for, where people love you to the extent that they are ready to stick by you and stay by you. So it's just up to me to work harder to be able to achieve that.
But when you heard about it, what was your take? What really struck you in all of that?
About the arrest, and
yeah.
I felt bad because anybody that I know that's even going to jail, I feel bad for the person. And I just felt bad that they had to be in prison for that long for something like a simple mistake, something that probably they couldn't really, like, you don't have a control of some things. Do you understand? I just feel like there are lessons everybody can learn. We are all human beings. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has a breaking point. And as I said earlier from the beginning of the interview, that as a human being, people always forget the fact that you are in the limelight does not mean that you are not a human being. You behave like any rational human being. So let's just forgive them. Let's move on. These are great import and exports out of the country. These are people that send our music to other parts of the world. So let's just forget about it. Let's move on. Let's just think, okay, they are also human beings like us. They're allowed to make mistakes. So yeah.
Prophecies. Do you think Ghanaian pastors are doing the right thing with regards to prophecies? Do you think?
We never hear about, oh, Safa, I dreamt that you had $1 million and it's coming. I dreamt that you have this big show. I dreamt that you have this. It always has to do with negativity, and so it just brings your mind to the fact that, are they saying this because they want to just trend, or are they saying this because they want you to feel bad or something? So I just feel like attention has been drawn from a lot of important things, and it has been given to mediocre things, because if we were not giving them the attention in the first place, why will a pastor see something and come on air and come and talk about it? It's a private issue. What happened to calling the management of the people? What happened to going to the person's house? Oh, this and this is what I have heard. Why do you have to come on national TV and put my dirty clothes or linens outside? Nobody has to know about it. Just like the same way, if you dreamt that I had a lot of money, you won't come and tell me. So I just think we just have to, immediately we stop giving them that sort of attention, they'll just realize that this is not something they can make money off of, because, you know, this is money for them, because immediately they say, then it's like, oh, this pastor dreamt about Shatawale, so I'm going to his church. This pastor dreamt about Sefa, so I'm going to his church. It doesn't make sense. You don't serve God like that.
Okay, so after I don't want to go here, but I guess I have to. So you were criticized. I don't know whether you saw it on social media after you appeared on the Delay Show.
Yes, I was.
How did you feel about that, and did you have any regrets?
No, I never had any regrets on going to the Delay Show, and for, if anything, I'm grateful for Delay. Sorry, I'm grateful to Delay for giving me the opportunity to talk about myself and my life on her show, because it was all about me for like that 30 seconds or 30 minutes and stuff like that. And about people criticizing me, I didn't really see too much of the criticism as compared to the positive vibes. I draw more positive energy as compared to the negative one, so I didn't really see that. What were they even saying? What were they saying?
About the whole body shaming thing.
Oh, okay. Oh, I get it. Oh, well, too bad for you.
Okay, so you've had to perform on big stages in London, and
you were at the party in the park.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So can you tell us how your experience was?
It was amazing. It was amazing. The energy there was crazy. Because even before I came on stage, you were already mentioning my name, singing my songs and stuff like that. So it just gave me that sort of feeling to do more for them because of the kind of energy I was getting from them. And I also got the opportunity to meet other artists in the UK that I connected with and hopefully to do music with. And also I got to do my media tour, which was amazing, and I saw a lot of nice people that say, oh, I love you, I love your music, and people were singing my song back to me. That experience is something I'll keep with me forever.
So you featured, I saw your skits with Nasty Black.
Yeah.
Will you ever at a point consider acting?
I've not thought about it. You know, that's the funny thing about me. When it comes to me, right, apart from music that I'm very passionate about, every other thing is secondary to me. So if I wake up and I feel like today maybe I want to take pictures, I'll take pictures. If I wake up and I'm like maybe today I want to act, I'll act. But music is the only thing I can't wake up one day and say today I want to do music, or I don't want to do music.
Because that's your 9 to 5.
Exactly. But when it comes to acting, I've never really thought about going into acting, even though I've had a lot of offers. People, oh, I want you to do this for me, I want you to do this acting for me. I just feel like it's not something that my heart is pinned on at the moment. So yeah.
Okay. So what's the way forward? What projects are you currently working on?
So I just released my song I did with Sarkodie and one of the biggest artists in SA, DJ Tira, which is doing amazing. Also, this December, I'm very, very sure wherever you're going, you might see me performing there. So please come, let's jam. And also make sure to stream the songs. A lot of amazing things coming up. I love like to keep quiet on things till they come out, then it's like, oh, it's really happening. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best.
But what was the experience like working with a big act like Sarkodie on that song?
It's amazing. It's amazing, and just the vibe, like I never really thought like he was that friendly till we're in the UK together, and then it's like it's an amazing feeling. You know, it's somebody that when you see him, you have a lot to learn, and then also like he's teaching you the ways because he introduced us to other industry players that he was working with. He took us for dinner, bought us shoes and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, Sarkodie is an amazing person, and just him putting a verse on my song is something I've always dreamed about, and I wish every young artist coming up could experience that, because it just opens up your mind. And what he's doing, he might not know it, but in the future, when somebody else comes up to me, it will be like, oh, somebody did it for me, so I also have to do it for somebody else. And I think he's an amazing artist.
Okay, so aside music, do you have any other passion?
Oh yeah, I love to watch cartoons.
If
you ask me any episode of SpongeBob, I can tell you.
Wow.
Yes, I love. So my passion is just watching cartoons. I love it a lot.
Really?
And also, I think I love to be creative. My mind is like a creative space. So when it comes to styling, when it comes to video direction, when it comes to putting things together, most of my videos I put them together, from the styling, makeup, everything. So my mind is like a creative space. I think more of like creativity for me.
Nice. So finally, we are almost here. Give your last words, and then we bounce.
So anywhere I go, any station I go to, I always say that I don't have fans, I have family, because you guys have been so amazing to me. Thank you to GhanaWeb for always promoting my music. I have a new one featuring King Sarkodie and DJ Tira titled Fever. It's an Amapiano song. You're gonna love it. Please go download it, stream it, share with your friends, and let's vibe.
Put out where they can stream your music and your social media handles.
So my music is on all musical platforms. Any app you use to listen to music, just type Sefa and all my tracks are gonna pop up. Ichoke, Sugar, Odoyewu, Fever, everything is gonna pop up. And also my social media handles on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram is Sefa_GH, S3FA_GH.
That was Sefa right there, giving us all the vibes and getting all personal with us. And don't forget, this show, as usual, is brought to you by Cheesy Pizza. Cheesy Pizza has all you want, from juices, smoothies, jollof, fried rice, spaghetti, and meatballs. We have great deals for you all week round. Cheesy Pizza gives you the McCheesy combo every Monday and Thursday. With only 49 cedis, you get one small pizza, fries, chicken,
Coca-Cola at all their branches. Tuesdays are Super Tuesdays at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Buy your Super Family Pizza at half price every Tuesday for 40 cedis at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Be a part of the midweek bonanza every Wednesday. Buy and get one free at all Cheesy Pizza branches. Also remember to order your weekend special jollof and fried rice from Cheesy Pizza. Call 0264 133 397 0264 133 397 to place your order. Cheesy Pizza your way. And of course, they've asked me to give this coupon to Safa.
Your pizza your way.
Yeah. So you go to any branches written on it, and then you can get for yourself a pizza. So
my siblings are going to be so happy.
Oh yeah. Finally, we have come to the end of this show. I hope you liked it, and thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. To your grandma on point.
Hey. So we come your way another time. Till then, stay out of trouble, and we are out.
Continue thriving and obviously achieve higher, and everybody knows that even though I'm not working with them again, but my personal relationship with the owner and many of the management and the staff, it is where my heart is. So I wish them very well, but I'm sure that even without wishes they will still do very well.
Welcome to another edition of GhanaWeb Road Safety Campaign. My name is Lord Harris Idwasare. Today we speak to another accident victim. Our guest today is a content creator, a creative lead, and on the side he likes to MC and make people happy. Our guest today is David Dawoku. Thanks for speaking with us.
Thank you, Lord. Thank you for having me.
Great. Let's talk about your accident. How did it happen?
So when you say accident, it sounds very big because people have gone through a lot more.
Well, that is true.
But for mine was, I'll say in one word, it was unexpected, right? It wasn't a major accident where there were casualties and stuff like that. But
okay.
For me, for someone who has, throughout my life, I've not been in an accident before. And so this one was still very traumatic for me.
It shook you?
Yeah, it shook me. I was on my way to work, so at the time I used to work at Star FM.
When was this?
This was in 2015.
Okay.
So it's a good, I think, 6 years, ago. I was on my way to work. I used to live at North Legon at the time. And heading to Star FM Akanda, you usually use the Tetekwashi interchange. So I was on the straight route from Legon towards Accra. So this was shortly before you get to Spanner Junction by Accra Mall. So I was driving at normal speed, and then I heard a screeching sound ahead of me. Now this was like the road was free, but there were still a bit of cars on the road. So I would say about 5 to 6 cars ahead of me.
Okay.
So I heard a screeching sound, and then I realized that the screeching sound continued with different cars. Like each of the cars stopped abruptly.
Okay.
And so this happened until it got to my car as well. So I realized that the car in front of me stopped abruptly. So I had no option but to step on the brakes. So I ended up hitting the car in front of me. I realized that the other cars had hit each other. It was a pile-up.
Okay. Is it that you didn't see it early? That's why you also hit?
Yes, I didn't see it early. I was just, like, imagine this, you are just driving and then all of a sudden the car in front of you stops.
Abruptly, okay. There was
no waiting time, nothing.
Reaction time.
So reaction time was very short.
Okay.
Probably a few seconds. So I had to step on my brakes, and I ended up hitting the person in front of me. And a few seconds later, the person behind me, like I felt some impact, very heavy impact, such that my head, bobbed back and forth in a very awkward manner.
Oh, okay, you jerked up.
I jerked, exactly, but I was in my seatbelt anyways.
Okay.
So, but the impact was very great. So I realized that someone had also hit me from the back. My heart was racing because I didn't know what was going on. And so I got down, I sat in the vehicle for a while to catch my breath. I got down and realized that my knee area was swollen because of the impact. I had hit the, not the dashboard, but where the steering wheel is, there is a plastic.
Underneath it?
Yes, underneath it. My knee had hit the place. Instantly, I felt neck pains because I had gone back and forth in an instant that I wasn't supposed to go. My heart was still racing. So I just stepped out of the vehicle, realized that the 3 cars in front of me had been badly mangled front and back. For some reason, my car, it's just a number plate that came off.
What car were you using?
I was using a Toyota Matrix at the time.
Okay.
So it was just a number plate that had come off, and the back, I think the Toyota Matrix, the bumpers are plastic. So there was just a little crack at the back bumper as well. And in the front, besides the number plates falling off, there was a little crack there as well.
Okay.
But 3 years down the line, the effects of that accident began to show later, not on the day of the accident. So later on, when you open my bonnet and things, you see that this place is broken off and everything. But it took 3 years for that to come.
Okay.
But in any case, right after I called, I was living with my parents at the time. I wasn't married. So I called my dad. My dad came to pick me up, took me to the hospital, and right away they had to do what do you call it? There's a medical term, CTG or something, chest scan, because my heart was still racing, even an hour after the accident.
Did you kind of have a panic attack or?
I think yes. What I was having was some form of panic attack or anxiety. But even though my heart was racing, I was calm. I was very calm. It's only until later when I was lying on the table and they put the things on me that I was replaying the accident again. But on the spot there, because there was so much adrenaline, and because of that, to date it's still very, very traumatic for me.
When you got out of the car to evaluate what had happened, you said the car which was ahead of you looked a bit mangled.
Yeah, that car, I believe, I've forgotten what car it was. It was a saloon car as well, but the back had gone in.
What did the driver say to you?
No, he did. You see, so at that point, everybody realized that this was a pile-up. So it's not the fault of the one behind. Neither is it the fault of the one in front. But here's the interesting thing: the one who caused the accident, the first car, nobody hit his car. After he did that, he did that abrupt break. He left. So it is everybody after him, the 5 or 6 cars after him that were affected in the pile-up.
So
but
he created a freak accident and then
he went. He left cry. So it was up to us to manage. So funny, surprisingly, my car was the only car that didn't have that much damage. The rest badly damaged.
Even the one which was behind
the
you?
One behind me the front was mangled. Yeah.
Did you report it to the police?
No. So at that point, then it becomes an issue of whose responsibility is it to report. I believe that the people whose cars were badly mangled may have reported it to the police. But for me, I waited a bit, and this was around 9-10 a.m. So the traffic had cleared. So I waited a bit for my dad to come and pick me up and take me. I didn't think of police in that situation. I was just, at the time, my focus was just to go to the hospital because I was wondering what was wrong with me. It's like I felt like I've been dropped from I'm afraid of heights, so I felt like I've been dropped from a very high place, or I felt like someone was trying to shoot me, and then when the person shot, there was no bullet in the gun. You know that?
The feeling that, okay,
that's
you
how
know
I felt like
just going to die.
My heart. I felt like I was just about to die, and then I'd been saved. And if it went on for about 2 hours before I was okay.
Wow.
So then it got me thinking that, and then the people who go through major accidents where the car flips and everything, how would they handle this? And just that little, the pile up, that little impact of someone hitting me was very great. So I'm imagining cars that somersault and things.
What was the demeanor of your dad when he came to pick you? How did he take that?
They were I don't know how to put it, but you had seen that they had been scared with the call because I called them, but I was calm. But they were scared. They were scared. Even when we got to the hospital, it took the assurance of the doctor to calm everybody down. I remember as soon as my dad heard the call and he called me, he called my girlfriend, who is my wife now. He called her, and she lives in somewhere in Tema. She also left and came because everybody was, scared and everything. So she took time off work and left and came to see if everything is okay.
Playing back everything today, do you think things could have gone differently? What do you think you could have done to sort of avert the situation? Or you think it was just a freak accident?
I think it was a freak accident. There's some of those things that, you see, whenever you are driving, that's why it's good to pray before you leave your house. Whenever you are driving, accidents, sometimes you may cause an accident. Sometimes with somebody's carelessness, that will come into your path. I mean, besides this, I've hit somebody before. I've hit I've hit a child. Yes, before. Maybe I should add that.
Yes.
So besides this,
how did that happen?
Accidents on me. I've also had 2 accidents on other people. The first one was a boy of about, I think it was about 6 or 7, and this was somewhere within the Star FM area. So this within Kanda, the inner roads. So I was just driving this, and this driving wasn't because it's inner roads. This very low speed, right? Driving through the neighborhood, and I saw 2 boys of around the same age, 6 and 7, walking. They're just walking randomly along the road. So I was driving. Before I could say jack or before I could step on my brakes, one of the boys pushed the other boy into my way, into the road.
Pushed how? It's like they were playing.
So they live in the neighborhood. They were walking randomly, and then having a conversation, and then what do you call it? All of a sudden, he just pushed his friend into my lane. The car lane. So I hit him, and then I had to step on my brakes and stop the car. So I stopped the car, got out. I was like, why would he do that? So the boy was on the floor crying. When he fell, it was a tarred road. So he had hit, it wasn't his head, I think it was his knee or something. He had hit his knee onto the concrete and was holding it, clutching it in pain, and was crying and everything. But luckily, I've always been afraid of mob justice. You know that place close to Nima?
Yeah.
So I've always been afraid of. So that was the first thought that crossed my mind. But I didn't want to run away. I just stayed and made sure that the boy was okay. But luckily, the boy's people, his family and his mom and things, they were around when it happened. So they came and were rather shouting at the...
Oh, they saw everything.
They saw everything happen, shouting at the boy. And I think he had been told not to go out that day or something. So say we that kind of thing. And then yelling at his friend that why would he do that and stuff like that. And they told me that, boss, wait to me, I'll call why. So I just gave them something small. And then I was on my way. But that was also very traumatic for me because, somebody in Kidi, like someone's child, and I had to, hit the person.
Is that to say that it was of minimal impact because you...
Yeah, it was of me, but even with... So it's like, it was at slow speed, but it hit him.
Yeah.
Once
he fell
it hit him, and
the trauma...
He fell, that falling that you fall for you are pushed for a few meters. That's how it was. He went. So it's like I hit him. He went for a few meters on the ground. He flew. Let me put it that way. He flew for a few meters because I think the impact was more from him because his friend pushed him violently into the street. So he came into my car with speed and fell somewhere. So much so that like I'm on a straight road. And when I got down from the car, I had to look on the side because that's how he fell. He came in the middle of the road, fell off to the side, and I stopped my car and went to check on him. So it was very. I mean, as I was going, my was shaking. I was shaking in the as I was driving in the car and everything. And then the other one on Tema, Hospital Road. This was on a Saturday morning. It was a traffic light. It had just turned green. So I just stepped on my accelerator to move. And Trotro meets trying to get passengers. He just appeared in front of my car because he was running to the other side to go and bring a passenger to his car. And then he hit the car. So I was moving. The car hit him and he fell and got up and continued to go.
Hey.
He got up and continued to go. So his was more to the right. The front of the car didn't hit him. It was the right side of the car.
Okay.
So when he hit my side mirror. My side mirror came off.
Oh.
Yeah, my side mirror came off, and then so I had to stop and also go and check. But he wasn't concerned. I'm sure later on he went to feel the pains in the house, but he wasn't concerned at that point. He was just focused on going to get his passenger.
Let me draw you back a bit, and with regards to the little boy. I'm wondering why you didn't offer to take him to the hospital or anything of.
So, I mean, at the point, his injuries looked like he's going to play ball and then he scraped his knee. There was a deep cut on his. I think at the point I saw 2 injuries. So there were skid marks on his thigh, and then the deep cut was on his left knee, almost towards his knee and everything. It was a deep cut. But at the point I was asking there was a bit of commotion around and them yelling at the boy and stuff. So at a point I was asking the people that, is there anything I can do in Faninko Hospital? And I said, then that's where the mom was like, it's okay, I can go. So we are boss who baby konzi they call Wayanyashi. So I just gave them a small amount of money in case they needed to take him to the hospital and all that. And then I went on my way.
I see. But generally, what do you make of the spate of accidents and how that can be kept in the country?
Well, personally, I feel like I was going to say that the spate of accidents is heavily dependent on, the level of income generally. Like poorer countries will have more accidents, but that's not true. Because in America and in developed nations, accidents also happen. I think that to some extent, accidents are preventable. And so that is where the standard of living and cost of living issue comes in. For example, accidents on major roads in terms of highways can be prevented if there are better routes, right? And I feel like for a country where the standard of living is high and all of that, commercial vehicles will be in a better state. So if I'm just thinking back to my Trotro days, when I was doing my service and everything, when I had to take Trotro from Medina to Osu and from Osu to Medina, right? The characteristic of Osu Trotros, I feel like if you are not looking bad, they won't let you work in Osu because all the Trotros there are beyond repair. You understand? I don't know if it's changed over time, but most of the Trotros there, that's characteristics of them. And I'm thinking for Trotros like that, when you have an accident, everybody will die. Because the seats, obviously there are no seat belts. The seats are it's like they are old and they've been sprayed again. So some of the metal is still out. Even sitting in it, just a little impact can have some effect on you.
Okay.
And then now having an accident. So generally, before Uber came and all of that, I feel like the standard of vehicles we're using in this country were not the best.
But how about now?
But now,
what do you think is causing the plenty accidents we are witnessing? And how do you think we can stop that?
I think that, first of all, it's important to note that you cannot have 100%, if it comes to road accidents, you can't have 100% situation where we've had a time when there are no accidents at all. I think the focus should be on minimizing it. So I believe that road safety campaigns, in terms of telling people not to speed, a lot of people like to go on what do you call it, jolly or joy rides, where, especially where I live, Central University is close to that point. So you have people on the Dawenya Road, and the motorway leads to the Dawenya Road. You have people, a lot of people speeding unnecessarily on roads like that. And it's not necessary. You see, sometimes younger people want to impress their friends and show that, yeah, their car is a machine and everything. And I feel like at the end of the day, if you have a car, but you cannot drive it because you are dead or the car is damaged, what's the point? You see, so I think that the road safety starts from me and you. Okay, the fact that you know that a car is just a means of transport from one point to the other. The whole fanfare about speed and everything is not necessary, right? If we begin to have that at the back of our minds from the beginning, like internally with ourselves, it's a good start to go with. But at the end of the day, you may believe in all of that and go onto the road and meet somebody who doesn't believe in any of those things, or somebody who is trying to, maybe he's a truck driver, he's just trying to make sales. He's driving anyhow, he's trying to get into this lane and everything. Those are the people that need a lot of the education.
Okay.
See, the people who are not necessarily formal, the informal people, they need a lot of education, because and we've seen a lot of adverts for a lot of truck drivers. The focus is on, he's going to pour Mikoshio Muiguaba, like I'm going to pour them down and come back and pick some more. The human life, when they sit in the truck, the human life becomes more of a commodity.
Okay.
So they don't take care. And I feel like maybe if the laws were stiffened to have stricter punishment on commercial drivers that cause accidents, maybe it could help, because right now they are, it's just reckless.
Okay, I would like to take a quick break here. You're still watching the GhanaWeb Road Safety Campaign with me, Lord Harisidosari. After the break, we'll get further details from David Dawoku. Please stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Ato Akins. Road accident is taking more lives than COVID-19. So be very careful on the road and stay safe. Do the right thing. Save a life.
Welcome back. This is still the GhanaWeb Road Safety Campaign series. My name is Lord Harisidosari, and we're speaking to a content creator, MC, and a lead creative, or a creative lead, David Dawoku. So you're telling us about how especially commercial drivers should be educated, but recent statistics have also shown that private drivers are usually guilty of causing accidents with their indiscipline. We normally have people either texting and driving or making wrongful overtaking and such. How do you think things like that should be addressed?
I think that from time to time, as human beings are happy when they cheat death. You get what I'm saying? Like you get a thrill when you cross the road and the car almost hits you and you made it to the other side. The car, you were safe. People get thrills from that. I think constant reminders that it's not worth, you are going to a place. Better leads. It's even a saying that better leads than never. Yeah. You see, people feel like they can make a wrongful overturning and they can get away with it, and until it's too late and they meet another vehicle. I think that people should be constantly reminded of the fact that it's not worth it. The road safety campaigns and marketing should be in your face. Wherever you get to, whatever traffic light you get to, there should be a reminder that speed kills, or ensure that you signal when you are driving. Don't take wrong turns. You know, all these things should be.
So you think there's not much visibility? Because I think we pretty much have a lot of stickers and educational materials in people's faces everywhere, but we still have accidents occurring at a higher rate.
Yes. So for that point, you cannot blame all accidents on
lack of education.
On lack of education, or on, like I said from the beginning, a lot of the accidents, if we were to, I don't know the percentages, but different factors cause the accident. So you may have an accident being caused by the person who is driving the car. You may have an accident being caused by a commercial driver. You may have an accident being caused. It's not about the commercial driver, it's not about the car. It's about the road or some external factors, rain, low visibility. A lot of these things happen. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So there won't be a moment where altogether, absolutely, there will be no accidents. But I feel like the focus should be on the parts we can control. Being a driver, commercial drivers around, and, you know, people not paying attention to certain safe ways to drive on the road. So I feel like, as for education, there cannot be too much education. You understand? As much as we can put there is very important. Maybe we realize that we have to find relatable ways of getting this education out. So, for example, a lot of people listen to certain shows during their drive time and stuff like that. There should be a conscious effort to put that education as well on the shows. Okay. You understand? Okay. So it should be, people listen more when everything is in their face. Wherever they turn to, they see some warning or some caution here about driving safe and things of that nature. So I think that the education has been there, the education has been intensive, but a lot more would do. A lot more would do.
All right, Mr. Day, thanks a lot for your time here. What are your final words to our viewers as far as the road safety campaign is concerned?
I feel like generally everybody lives for one important thing, which is self-preservation. Everything you do, I don't think anybody would willingly go and put themselves in harm's way. When you have life, you have hope, you have a means of income, you have a way to connect to people, you have opportunity to do things and be greater. You understand? When you take life away, all of those things have left. I even forgot to mention, when you have life, you have people. Nobody's an island, so people depend on you. So you need to live. You need to live. There are so many reasons for life. And so you don't want to cut that short by getting involved in an accident and losing your life. If you don't lose your life and you lose a limb, or you lose your sense of, something, maybe you go and hit your head against something and you can't think properly anymore. That's just your source of living going away. You become a vegetable and become dependent on other people. So I feel people should consider all of those things before you sit in your car to drive, or before you take some reckless decision in terms of driving. Think about how you are preserving your life for the people that depend on you and for yourself as well.
Okay, thank you so much. So that's all time will allow us on today's edition of GhanaWeb Road Safety Campaign. Now, you out there in the audience, what you can do to help this campaign is that when you see some potholed roads or some lights which are not functioning or some misdemeanor by drivers or any form of indiscipline, record it, send it to us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it is GhanaWeb TV. On Twitter, is the GhanaWeb. Thank you for watching. My name is Lord Harris Idwasare.
It gives me great privilege to congratulate GhanaWeb on your 22nd anniversary. You have been a trailblazer in providing accurate and timely news, and we salute you on all your achievements and accomplishments. We wish you another 22 years of top-notch professional journalism. So congratulations once again, and keep up the good job.
Welcome to the Lowdown on GhanaWeb TV. This program covers all the relevant issues from the hard truth to the facts and the fears. My name is Ni Akwe Ismail Akwe. Recently in West Africa, that's Guinea, there was a coup d'etat, and Guineans were rallying behind the coup makers because they were relieved. If I would say all of them, well, that wouldn't be true. But some Guineans we saw in the media were happy about the coup, and many Guineans are asking what's going to happen next to their country. And also looking at the issue in Guinea, so many experts have called on countries like Burkina Faso and even Ghana to tighten their security, because anything like that could happen. There's also terrorism around the corner. Boko Haram is still active. Now we're going to discuss how the security threat in the region is affecting Ghana and the role Ghana can play in mitigating all these effects if they happen. Our guest is a security consultant and is an expert in the issue, and he's going to talk to us about this right after this break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Lowdown. My name is Ni Akwe Ismail Akwe, and our guest today is Alhaji Irbad Ibrahim. He is a security analyst, consultant, and also a social commentator. Welcome, Irbad.
Thank you so much for having me.
Were you surprised when the coup d'etat in Guinea happened?
No, the signs were quite clear. And for so long, we've come up with the idea that when you theorize how the 15 nations that make up the body of ECOWAS have transitioned since the independence struggles in the mid-50s and then early 60s, you realize that the Francophone faction of the group has not been able to wean itself of French subsistence. So the coups we've seen in recent times have all been Francophone coups. Guinea-Bissau in Mali back to back, and now we have Guinea-Conakry. Even though there are, various backs of challenges with the Anglophone bloc, the 5 Anglophone countries seem to be doing well. Ghana has transitioned a couple of times since the time of Rawlings. We've seen Olusegun Obasanjo lead Nigeria from '99 and then transitioning to Omar Yar'Adua. He died in office. Goodluck Jonathan, then Buhari came into the picture. In Liberia, and Johnson Sirleaf, handed over power peacefully to George Weah. In Sierra Leone, then the Gambia, even though with some checkered, history in the Gambia. So pretty much we need to, look at the Francophone, bloc. When the French people left, West Africa, they gave 2 options to the nations who were becoming independent at that time. It's either it was a half-baked independence, where you would be tied to the umbilical cords of Paris, or you would be on your own. So Guinea-Conakry chose the latter, and we are told the French took away virtually everything, including desks in offices, and then they ripped off rail lines in some instances, we were told. So that was how come Kwame Nkrumah had to intervene. He gave $10 million to his brother Sekou Toure, who was the first post-independence, leader for Guinea. That's how come he has a son called after, named after him.
So with all these interventions,
the French left a vacuum.
Yeah.
And these Francophone countries in West Africa have unfortunately not been able to fine-tune the role they need to play in a post-independent West Africa.
So with the vacuum the French have left in Francophone Africa, and also the setting up of all the regional bodies like ECOWAS, which is a mix of Francophone and Anglophone countries, wasn't there supposed to be a change? And what is the disconnect between the two?
Sadly, with my background in diplomacy and having worked as a rapporteur, I know how some of these things work out. You could have a regional bloc do a meeting. It could be ECOWAS, ECAS for Central Africa, IGAD for Eastern Africa, and SADC for Southern Africa. Then there is a resolution you need to make. A communique has to be issued. Then every now and then, representatives of certain countries would excuse you and then go make calls outside. So people need validation from France before they take certain decisions. And for me, that's pretty bad. Look at the choice of currencies, the CFA. The CFA is just an extension of the French currency. The reserves, the central bank reserves of these Francophone countries are in France. So at what point can we come out clearly and say, you have to wake up and smell the coffee? If this regional bloc has to be truly independent, you need to sever your allegiance and ties to France in some instances. But sadly, we've not been able to get the courage we need for some of these countries to come out against France.
We'll talk more about the regional blocs, but with the expectation or non-surprise of the coup in Guinea, could we say that it is, is fair or is just to have the coup?
And let's be, fair to Alpha Condé. It's not like over the course of the 10 years he was leader, things went amiss completely. He was their president when Ebola struck, 2014, 2015. We saw the leadership he showed. And Ghana's former president played a role. He worked hand in hand with him. We set up the Ebola Response Center in Accra. Great job. He did his best in various, areas. He built 2 dams, one completely done. Many Guineans didn't have access to constant electricity before he came. And the other, dam will be commissioned pretty soon. In terms of infrastructure, a lot more needs to be done in the country. So it wasn't like it was all gloom and doom from day one in office to the last day he was toppled. He did some good things. But where Alpha Condé went wrong was when he made an attempt to amend the constitution for a 3rd term. And I see some hypocrisy on the side of ECOWAS. ECOWAS has pretty much become a firefighting regional bloc. When things are going wrong, they say, don't say anything. And that problem is inherent within the ECOWAS Charter. There are protocols within the Charter that dissuade poking your nose into the internal affairs of member states. So it's called the principle of non-interference in the internal affairs of member states. So no matter how bad the decisions of a president are, you are supposed not to talk. You are supposed not to intervene. But when things go wrong, then they call on ECOWAS to intervene. So for me, that principle needs to be reviewed. You need not to be a magician to be told that there will be more coups in the sub-region. Because the things that Alpha Condé did to have warranted the coup are being done by other leaders. Fonya Sengbe of Togo, next door Togo, he has amended the constitution, he's doing a 3rd term. Alassane Ouattara, and the Ivorian situation is an enigma, is an irony. Alassane Ouattara was a creation of breaking the jinx of longevity in power. The French deployed soldiers to topple Laurent Gbagbo. Then you come, you do your 2 terms, you've amended the constitution for a 3rd term. And so I think the hands of ECOWAS are tied. You find people come up with a body of literature and research as ECOWAS outlived its usefulness. But if you don't arm ECOWAS with the tools to operate, then it becomes very difficult to preempt some of these things that have happened. So I wouldn't call the coup fair, but I think he has been a victim of circumstance. And Alpha Condé would have a legacy of a mixed bag of good days and bad days. But unfortunately, he will be remembered as a toppled leader in West Africa.
I know this isn't, or we can't compare the West African regional bloc to the eastern, or I mean the ECAS that's in southern Africa, where we see Rwanda going into Equatorial Guinea to help them with their issues there that they have, the rebels and all that. Do you think this is something ECOWAS could also add into their charter?
Yes, you mentioned before we went on screen, you mentioned the issue of the Gambia, and I'm happy your lovely reportage of the events of the Gambia and the transitioning from, you know, Yahya Jammeh to Adama Barrow. ECOMOG was a precursor to the kind of intervention you are seeing in other parts of Africa. We saw the devastating civil war in Sierra Leone and Liberia. And so Nigeria took the lead. And whether we like it or not, Nigeria is the leader of the continent. Nigeria has the largest market, is the largest conglomeration of black people anywhere in the world. Over 200 million people. And so we need Nigeria to take the lead on some of these regional security issues. But Nigeria is contending with its own security issue in its backyard, Boko Haram. And so that leadership we saw during the time of ECOMOG and the threat of the use of force in the Gambia seems to be missing currently. So we can pluck some pages from the playbook of Rwanda to be able to, we call it African peer review. If you are Ghana, Nigeria should be able to say, okay, these are the steps you are taking economically, politically, socially, and you need to make these reviews. It is only when we strengthen the early warning mechanisms that we'll be able to forestall coups. It is said that coming events always cast their shadows. You need not be told that these decisions being taken by this president will lead to this eventuality. And so I want a situation whereby there can be a sort of diplomatic intervention to be able to tell that, hey, inflation is too high in your country. Things will bubble over. And so ECOWAS can come in. We have an ECOWAS parliament. We don't have an ECOWAS central bank. That is what differs African regional blocs from the EU. The European Union can actually give you a bailout. ECOWAS can't. So there should be a standby force for ECOWAS, a central bank for ECOWAS, so we can control our forex. We can intervene economically to resolve some of these issues before they bubble over. And so going forward, I believe there are limits to what diplomacy can do. And I believe that at some point we need to use the bully pulpit of ECOWAS to resolve some of these issues before they spiral out of control.
We'll soon talk about the setup of the regional bodies and also the hottest countries or the hotbed for security issues in West Africa, and then Ghana's role in all of these issues that are popping up in the region right after this break. Welcome back to the Lowdown. My name is Ni Akwe Ismail Akwe, and we've been having a discussion on security issues in the West African region with Alhaji Ibad Ibrahim. So we're discussing how ECOWAS is limited in dealing head-on with some security issues that come up. We're also discussing the coup in Guinea. So what are the limitations of diplomatic missions, diplomatic blocs like ECOWAS when it comes to such issues like the coup in Guinea? What is the extent they could go?
The communique that has come out from the extraordinary session summoned by the ECOWAS chair of heads of governments, Ghana's own President Nana Addo, has done what we have done in recent years. As soon as there is a coup, the tools that are available within the toolkit are the things we use. First of all, we announced a suspension of the country from ECOWAS. So the borders are shut. There's a semblance of sanctions. But because we are not an economic powerhouse, you can't say presidents or military people who have saved in banks within West Africa will have their accounts frozen. It is non-existent to begin with. So what you do is to come out and say that the membership of that country has been suspended. So that will cajole them into putting together a transitional government. So from a military junta into a civilian government. But unlike in Mali, where Jerry Rawlings was involved, because Nana Addo, as chair of ECOWAS at that time, invited the military coup leaders to Accra. And they met Jerry Rawlings, because Jerry Rawlings has a history of transitioning from AFRC PNDC into a civilian government. So those were some pep talks that were instrumental in diplomatically resolving the Malian issue. But today, Jerry Rawlings is no more. We've lost him. And so what are the options? And again, I see intransigence on the part of the coup leaders, because they are complaining when things were bad. Where was ECOWAS? Why would ECOWAS now dictate to them what to do? And for me, it puts ECOWAS in a catch-22 situation, because this is a situation you have to intervene. I'm told Ghana's foreign affairs minister is leading a delegation into the country, so they start talking. And so the military leaders seem popular currently. We saw the jubilation by a faction, even though you said that may not be representative of the aspirations of all the people. So that means that if ECOWAS wants to use force to turn to a civilian government, there could be a civil war. So the options of ECOWAS are a bit limited, and I believe that when we judge, it's always better than warring. So I believe that we need to speak to Colonel Mamandi and all the people involved in this school to want to sit around the negotiating table with civilian, leaders, technocrats who are ready to be part of a transitional government, so that we go beyond this. ECOWAS comes up with ad hoc measures. We saw in the Gambia, they involved Salif, Buhari, and other leaders, and immediately after the crisis, they dissolved that, initiative. So it should be a continuous, standby initiative to resolve political and security issues. That is what is lacking. So I believe the ECOWAS Charter needs to undergo review. A charter that has been there for decades cannot serve the interests of a 24th and 21st century sub-region. And so where there needs to be more engagement, I think that is what we need to do. So that diplomatically, the overarching impact of diplomacy can resolve some of these issues before they even happen.
There's an argument that the age factor plays a role in ECOWAS, because the leadership of ECOWAS, if you look at it averagely, average age will be around 60. And most of these people have seen different regimes of the past, and there's been an evolution of how diplomacy is done. There's been an evolution of how states are run and all of these. But you can see that these people are looking at things from one direction, and there's an argument that when this age factor is dealt with, then we might have a different kind of approach to diplomacy in the region. All these ideas that are coming up and suggestions might be looked at and welcomed into the Charter of ECOWAS and would have some continuity and growth. Is that also your belief?
That's a very good viewpoint. I hear a lot of clarion call on the part of the youth. Even in Ghana, we have fixed the country. In Nigeria, we saw End SARS. And what the youth wanted to do, they wanted to push the envelope further, that beyond the dissolution of the Special Armed Robbery Response Squad, they wanted something else. But I always want us to tread on the side of caution. Because when the youth within the sub-region have been given the opportunity to assume positions of trust, they have in some cases been more corrupt than these aged, dying leaders we are saying they should leave the scene. Look at our universities, whether NUCS or SRC, look at the allegations of corruption. So if somebody in your middle or late 20s cannot be trusted with the dues of students, how can we trust you with billions of dollars of our GDP as a West African country? So I don't think it's an either-or situation. And the youth and the aged can be mutually inclusive. We can tap into the wisdom of the aged and the exuberance of the young to build West Africa and the rest of Africa, because the youth themselves have not proven themselves trustworthy with the national purse, the national kitty. in some cases.
But aren't the aged to blame for this? Because if you look at the governments of all these leaders we're talking about, they're also old people. And the youth are put at the back to deal with young people. And the young people they are the biggest numbers of people in these countries. And you're also being corrupt. What do you expect them to learn? And what are they supposed to learn from?
They can always be different. And over the past 3 regimes, I think in Ghana, we've seen very important and delicate positions handed over to young people. And what has been the jury out there, in some cases, it's been worse than having a septuagenarian occupy that position. And so for me, I think we should tread on the side of caution. And we can't blame the aging leaders too much. Why? You can't run for president until you are 40. And in some cases, some of them have had to struggle for 20 years or 25 or 30 years. Nana Addo in a case intended to be president many decades ago, and he only got the nod in 2016. So by the time you would have achieved your presidential ambition, you would be old. So maybe the system has to change.
Isn't that a recipe for coup d'etats?
Yes, yeah, it is, and I agree with you. So maybe we can bring down the age. If universal suffrage is 18, and currently we are even making an advocacy, they should be lowered to 16, because these, young people, they are able to do with digital media what the aged cannot do. There are apps on phones now that teenagers in high schools know better than some people in the university. So these baby boomers, people born in the 2000s, should be a part of the political system. So number one, we are making a recommendation that universal suffrage should move from 18 to 16, because more exposure for these people at their age than we had in our time. And then why do you have to be 40 before you can run for president? We can lower that age as well to maybe 30 or 25 if you are an achiever, so that we can shorten the curve. So by Obama ran as, he did one term as a senator from Illinois. An opportunity presented itself. He became a president in his 40s. By Donald Trump and then Biden actually ran for president in the 80s. He didn't succeed in the primaries. And so it has taken this long for him to be there. And therefore, I think we would be comparing oranges and apples if we say that the aged, generation have failed us. So let's wipe them off and then bring young people. I think it should be a melange or a mixture of the two, so that West Africa and the rest of Africa will achieve the kind of goals we want.
Now let's look at some security crisis in the region. We have Boko Haram, we have Fulani herdsmen attacking people. We have even Islamic State, IS, in other countries. We also have COVID. We can't rule out COVID. And we have so many others. They keep growing and they keep multiplying. Let's start with Boko Haram.
Okay.
Boko Haram. We are not seeing a regional push in fighting Boko Haram. Yes, we know the US government is helping with intelligence, but they can't really go in directly. I don't see Ghana playing any role, unless maybe it's a security strategy that they don't want to come out with that information, which maybe you might confirm or not. And the entire ECOWAS are looking on, and we are leaving Nigeria to their fate. Nigeria changed its head of military to fight Boko Haram. They had issues with that. A lot of soldiers were killed. Now they are changing strategies. How do you see Boko Haram ending anytime soon?
You see, the region is responding to these security challenges, first to begin with Boko Haram. There are 2 classifications of security challenges. You have a conventional security challenge, and you have an asymmetric one. Anytime it is conventional, like the war in Liberia and Sierra Leone, then you can come together and say, let's contribute soldiers, ECOMOG. Then you go in, you exchange artillery, gunfire, and then you topple the bad guys and then make sure that there's a civilian government. But Boko Haram is an amorphous group. It adopts hit and run tactics. And so you can't tell the line of leadership. And even if you want to negotiate, who do you sit with? And so it has become very difficult. So there's only one mission, peacekeeping mission within West Africa. It is MINUSMA. and that is to resolve the Azawad secessionist effort in northern Mali. So you find Timbuktu, Kidal, Gao, and Ghanaian soldiers are there.
Yes.
They are there, contributing their quota to regional security. But we can't deploy to Nigeria because Nigeria, number one, is a big brother. It will be a dent on the credibility, military credibility of Nigeria, that you need soldiers from tiny countries like Ghana to be able to fend off Boko Haram
But it's
attacks.
okay for America to support?
America supports materially with intel because of the satellite assets they have within the region, maybe trainers and all that. But Nigeria alone should be able to resolve the Boko Haram issue. Abuja is one of the areas I work with or in, and when I went to Abuja, I saw that yes, the activities of Boko Haram have taken a toll on the foreign direct investments that would have on a normal day. When you're going into a hotel, the semblance of insecurity that is created, all of that has really chipped away at the economic might of Nigeria as a country. But Ghana can't deploy the way we have done in the case of MINUSMA in Mali because this is unconventional. So we can help Nigeria with, morale, we can help with diplomacy and all others, but it will be, and especially the fodder and the groups are feeding on, they have made it a religious thing. So if care is not taken, they would want to transpose that kind of idea in individual member countries. And mind you, ECOWAS is largely made up of Francophone countries, and most Francophone countries have a Muslim population of not less than 85%. So if care is not taken, and this idea of, we are fighting against a system that is a kafir system, is going to pose a huge security. It would spread into other regions. Already, we've seen Cameroon suffer from the activities of Boko Haram. Even Chad, Idris Deby died fighting on the front lines, we are told. So we've had to adopt a carrot and stick approach in tackling the Boko Haram menace. But on all other fronts, the pandemic, we've seen, coordination amongst nations. The time has come for us to strengthen the activities of West African Health Organization, WAHO. There's WHO and there's WAHO. And we don't hear too much about them. We need to see infectious disease centers spring up everywhere. We need to see more collaboration, more exchange, so that in future when there's a pandemic like this one, we'll be able to be better prepared to tackle it. But for Ghana, I would commend Ghana because of our leadership role. Burkina Faso is the main security challenge now because Blaise Compaoré was toppled. The youth set the Burkinabe parliament ablaze, and there has been a vacuum. So Ghana is concerned that there could be a spillover. So His Excellency the President was able to convince regional, countries to come up with what we call the Accra Initiative. That summit was held at Pejuase Lodge. So nations have come together to share intel. So Ghana, our neighboring countries, and Benin. So even if it is a pin that falls, you need to share the intel with other nations so that you can protect, each member country from the activities of these groups. So if you asked me, I would say we are not doing too badly in terms of confronting head-on the security challenges militating against the stability of West Africa. But more needs to be done so that we keep the sub-region safe.
Let's talk about Ghana's own internal security issues. And currently there's a call for the borders to be open. And the borders have been closed, and there's a belief that it's affecting even the economy of the country. Is that something that you believe in also? Do you think it should be opened?
Off the cuff, I'll tell you that there are about 43 approved and unapproved entry points into Ghana. You see, when you are a sovereign country, there's 3 entry points. You have your airspace,
yes,
and you have your territorial waters. There's some 22 nautical miles before international waters. And then we have the borders, the terrestrial entry points. The most porous are the land borders. So when you go to Paga, Hamile, Sankansi, Elubo, Aflao, there are town folks who can put you on a motorbike and cross over to the other country.
And they are doing that.
And for them, the borders should remain shut because it's good business for smuggling. and customs people as well. There should be integrity in border controls. Some of the border areas, there is no surveillance. It's pretty much like just crossing over. And I believe it is important because some of these, you know, apart from smuggling, you look at the gun running that is going on. Look at the guns in civilian hands in Ghana alone. I sat with the former boss of the National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons some years ago, and their survey shows that at that time there were between 2.3 and 3 million guns in civilian hands. So that is after, when you count every 10 Ghanaians, one of them has got a gun, and that is bad enough. How do these guns get in, even though there is some expertise for local manufacture? At Alavanyo, Konya, and also Swami Magazine in Kumasi and Abosoka in Accra, many of these guns cross over from the borders. So what are we doing as a country? Is it about paying a little bribe so that you cross over with anything? And look at the sacks of onions that come from Niger. Look at the charcoal that comes from across the border. You see a huge truck, and there are loads of sacks. And what kind of, you know, frisk and search do we do? Oh, you are from where? Oh, this is a Burkina Faso truck. Okay. Just pass. We need to have the devices that can, you know, filter through and tell that this contains narcotics, this contains guns. That expertise is not there. And so I want to see us do more.
You think
it's
we should
not
open
just
the
about
borders?
opening the borders.
Okay, but we think we should open it but do more.
We should open incrementally.
Okay.
Because Nigeria shut down its border with Benin, and people were so angry. Why would Nigeria do that? Because there were unintended consequences for Ghanaian traders, Beninois traders, Togolese traders. But they felt Nigerians should eat local rice. And Vietnamese and Filipino rice production companies were taking their rice through Benin and then crossing over through the porous borders. But Buhari stood its grounds. Eat your own food so that you would empower the local industry. And so for me, it's not about looking inward or opening up entirely. I heard a speech by one of the former presidents of Tanzania, Nyerere. He said, oh, the white folks are deceiving us. They say there should be an open market. But when you put two boxes in a rink, you don't put a heavyweight with a lightweight or a featherweight person. So why should our markets be dumping sites? Look at the fish we saw, the whales we saw on Ghana's coast. When people rested and said, why did the whales die? Some said they were distressed. They were stressed. That was why they died. Maybe somebody has dumped dirty oil in our territorial waters, and somebody has gotten paid for it. We know that British Petroleum and other giant corporations around the world come to our territorial waters and dump dirty oil. How can the fish in our seas survive? So it's not about just being an open market. There should be equity based upon the size of your market and what you are bringing onto the international market. And so we should have open borders, but we should do so in an incremental way to protect the local industry as well.
So we will have to go on another break, but I was so interested in the open borders part because the moment you try to cut down on the infiltration of the market from or by the Western world, you might also affect other countries in the sub-region. Now we have a lot of countries, even in Ghana, where some of our products we import and then we repackage so that we would have it as made in Ghana, but it's actually not made in Ghana.
Wow.
They would also be affected if that is done.
I think we need to work on the psyche of the black West African. Today, you travel and you come home, you give a pair of shoes to your in-law. If they see made in Italy, they appreciate it more than say this was bought from, you know, Tudu. It's locally made. Somebody has told me that even with the furniture industry, and I'm friends with the expatriate business people here, I can see a lot of, you know, Turkish people invest in that area. Look, the wood, wawa, mahogany, all the wood is here. But when the local manufacturers manufacture knee, for the mere fact that their showroom is not along the Spintex road, you have to go into CMB to go and buy. oh, this furniture is fake, I don't want it. So what they do now is, just as you have indicated, they take the wood across the border, repackage, and put made in France on it. And people are quick to buy. So we need to work on the psyche of the people within the sub-region to appreciate our own and patronize our own. Then the idea of an open border and open market that allows everything to filter through will not affect. Look, we import everything, including toothpick. The toothpick, we import it, I'm told. Look at how you are dressed. Look at how this studio is nice, how I'm dressed. It is likely that 99% of the things here were not made here. And so it is important that we work on those. And the white folks don't like us. I don't believe in Moody's, the Bretton Woods institutions. They paint you black if you want to take charge of your economy. But when they give glowing tributes to your president, it means you are giving away too much. And so I believe we need a rethink. And Paul Kagame has led the way. That we can look inward as Africans and still do well economically. This idea of open borders and open markets would only pander to the benefit of the Western powers.
Thank you very much. We'll be coming back after the break to discuss, we'll continue discussing our internal security. We have a new police IGP, and we have some new strategies the police are adopting, which is helping curb crime in the country. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Lowdown on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Ni Akwe Ismail Akwe, and our guest is Alhaji Irbad Ibrahim. So we're discussing the security issues in Ghana, and we discussed the borders that are closed and how some miscreants, let's call them that, use the closed borders to infiltrate the country with some guns and other banned items. Now the police is busy, and they are very busy since the new IGP came on. And thanks to his interest in publicity and the PR, we hear a lot about police reactions and what they are doing. What do you make of the change in IGP?
There are two ways police officers are trained in Ghana. We are involved at some point. The first one has to do with the state. So there are police recruitments, you recruit academies. You have Tesano, you have other areas of the country. So they go for training. But we believe that the conduct of policing in the 21st century cannot be based upon tools of the past. So we appreciate the kind of training they are given. But security evolves. So all we do is we retrain them on the job. So we have what we call intelligence and forensics training. So we have soldiers, and I'm happy to say I'm a facilitator in that program. So we teach them new techniques and all that, suspicious packages management, explosives and all that. So it's a partnership we have with the security agencies, and we are working in that regard. But there's a new sheriff in town, and anytime there's a new guy, there's a lot of euphoria. I've even seen that horses go on patrol in Ghana. Yes. So the excitement is good, but sustainability is key. Dan Parry is an academic. He's one of only a few people with a PhD in the conduct of security in Ghana. And then he started humbly, and he has gotten to that pinnacle. So I believe that he's going to combine theory with pragmatism to be able to resolve. But the fact that you have a new guy at the police headquarters doesn't mean the criminals will go to sleep. They will always test the pulse of the new mechanisms and strategies that are put in place. So we still hear cases of armed robbery. I am concerned about highway robbery. An international journalist came here recently to conduct research into our security, and he ended up dying out of insecurity in Ghana. So you can imagine the kind of reviews we will get internationally. I'm not happy with the way the barriers and checkpoints are predictable. When you travel between cities, you know that, oh, if it is from Accra to Kumasi, when I get to Lindado, Forestry Commission is there, the Ghana Police Service is there. When I get close to Konongo, Asankare barrier is there. These checkpoints should be snap checkpoints. They should just pop up like mushroom, so that they become unpredictable. Because you can take like 5 kilometers knowing so well that within this, you know, these 5 kilometers, I will not meet any police checkpoint. And that is where the boys strike. And then there's these checkpoints are thinly spread as we even go to the north. And so these are unguarded, barren, ungoverned lands. And they're able to strike with reckless abandon. Prominent people are killed and they get robbed of their possessions. So I want to see the IGP work in that, do more in that regard. And the telcos, there are places where like Dadieso, when you get to Dadieso, you lose, you know, your connection to any, you know, mobile telephony. And that is where they strike. And our response time too is very bad. When you call the police, how can people be under distress? They call you, they are around Jolo, or they are around East Legon. Before you get there, your siren is blaring. You are giving the armed robbers a signal that you're on your way coming. So they should finish up the operation and leave. I believe that we need to change the strategy. And I want to see more plainclothes people. We should plant molds within these syndicates to be able, as I'm speaking to you, maybe in the coming hours, you'll get to know the work that has been done. Medical insecurity, public health safety is a major national security issue. As we speak right now, I'm in talks with a team that will carry out a sting operation today. What is happening? People are smuggling, as we indicated, fake drugs with no authorization from the Ghana Standards Authority or the FDA. They are selling these drugs to people. Chief among them are aphrodisiac drugs. And you see people die of, you know, heart failure, kidney problems. It's as a result of the consumption of these drugs. What is national state security doing about it? What we have impounded in 2 operations, according to the medical doctor working on this, ran into the tune of 100,000 Ghana cedis. So who monitors these people who are walking on foot? How do you walk on foot to people at a base or in their offices and say, Oga, buy this one, it will make you stronger in bed? You should be arrested. The one patronizing it himself should be arrested. And so for me, security is a behemoth thing. It's not a gun and bullet thing. We can't limit it to that. Your health and safety, your well-being, the safety of your children when they go out to school, all of these come together to make up the body of security. And I think the IGP has a lot of work on his hands. There is goodwill. There's public goodwill. I see footage of him taking part in night patrols. There is public goodwill. And the PR is top-notch. But beyond that, what are we doing to make the Ghanaians safer?
You shared views that I would say are collective sentiments of Ghanaians, and we all go through these, like the checkpoints we're talking about, where police who are supposed to be on patrols end up checking for, how do you call it, the DVLA, roadworthy, and then they will check your shoes to see if you're wearing slippers or not, and then the criminals just use that to go, and we see them going around and doing their things. Also, the medical issues you've talked about. Is this a leadership problem? Is it a problem of capacity? Is it a problem of training? What exactly do you think the problem is?
It's a problem of perception. And I know GhanaWeb is an international media outlet. Look at the unwholesome content media houses, you know, feed people. Because, you know, somebody cannot just put together a concoction, but because the person can pay for airtime, you start playing jingles for the person. A cursory look at the ads on TV would show you that a chunk of ad money comes from, you know, these drug sellers, medicine sellers, like they say they are herbalists, they are this, they are that. And how can one drug, Introtro, solve all medical issues in the world? This solves cocoa, it solves headache, it solves TB, it solves this, it solves that. The guy should be arrested. So we need the will to be able to tackle some of this, because you are waiting for Boko Haram to strike or militants to cross over from Burkina Faso. How many people can they kill? They attack a hotel, they kill 10, 15 people. But you are losing tens, if not hundreds of people every day as a result of bad public safety, mechanisms you have. So I believe that area, people are dying in hospitals. And the hospitals, look, medical negligence for you to lose a relative. I read a story on GhanaWeb about a family that was suing one of the hospitals because of what they perceive as medical negligence. Because they should have conducted surgery, they kept delaying, they had to give some money, they went for some scan, they said, hey, so you have money like that, from 25,000, bring all the 40K. That is a national security issue. If I don't feel safe when I have headache and I'm on admission, it should be a thing of concern to the police. BNI, or what is now called NIB, should be concerned. National Security Secretariat should be concerned. So I believe that it's not an issue of capacity. Look at the recruitments we are doing. The state security agencies are recruiting. GIS is recruiting. The Ghana Fire Service is recruiting. The Army recently recruited. We saw the long queue from Elwak through cantonments. So it's not an issue of capacity. It's a change of perception of what security means, so that we will understand what our priorities should be as a country and then tackle them head on. And I believe, I think we have emphasized too much on counterterrorism. We have, imported America's #1 security challenge and made it our own. If Al-Qaeda wants to attack America, and so America takes counterterrorism serious, that doesn't mean that should be the go-to thing for all nations in West Africa or the rest of Africa. Road accidents, and kudos to GhanaWeb on your road safety initiative. Road accidents have killed us over the years more than any other thing. Disease has killed us over the years more than any other thing. So I think we need a tweak of our understanding of national security. And I believe that the use of soft power, outreach, engaging people, giving people the right orientation would go a long way to make Ghana cling to its reputation as one of the most peaceful countries in West Africa, to attract the kind of foreign direct investment we want.
I pray the IGP is listening and watching as well, to take a cue from what you've said. Very great submissions.
We think that if you are strong, it means safe match, there is a parade, we are exhibiting. Security has long moved from that. We need to individualize security, come to the level of the people. Look, the cleaner who comes to work at dawn, how safe is the person? It's a national security issue. Because somebody can compromise your cleaner, and the person can have a bargain device. Maybe you don't. Look, there are instances police officers complain to us when they are put on duty in the houses of ministers. They are so ill-treated, where to even attend nature's call is difficult for them. And this is a guy who is only 5 seconds away from your life. He is armed, but he's not happy. You are a rich man. You have deficit of 6 months arrears. You've not paid your driver or your watchman. And apart from God, your life is in the hands of these people. So we need to completely do an overhaul of the way people see security. And we see ritual killings take place now. Yes, some are for money rituals. But how serious have we taken mental security in Ghana? Every corporate entity should, every 6 months, have a psychiatric specialist come and interview your employees. Because if the employee is not happy, the MD's life is at risk. Because he can just barge into your office and then bludgeon you with a knife. And some of these issues are mental security issues.
Security is really broad.
It's broad, and I believe that the time has come for us to spread the tentacles of our security apparatuses so that we can tackle some of these issues.
Bribery and corruption on our roads. Policemen taking, pittance. We all see them, and we are with them when this is done. Some of us give the money. Is it something that we should be worried about, or is something that we should forget about because there are major issues that we should deal with?
Kidnapping syndicates have found fertile ground in Ghana. Because someone stops a Corolla, oh, I buy, you just give a token. Nobody searches what is back there in your trunk or boot. And people just don't kidnap. When they kidnap, they move. I almost served a client as a consultant. He came from Russia. He was working in mining. Look, in Ghana, in Accra, he was stopped at a checkpoint and people had labels of Interpol. They were fake. And they kidnapped him.
Wow.
And they moved him from one safe house to another, torturing him and forcing him to sign off on documents, and they sold off his property. A foreigner. For 8 months, nobody knew his whereabouts.
In this country?
In this country. There are property owners all in the name of we are into real estate. People come in with bags of money. They rent apartments and houses. Who checks the backgrounds of these people? Of course, the safe houses they were keeping the kidnappee in were rented places. For so long, we have made a recommendation there should be a common database between property owners and national security. It shouldn't be like I have money for 2 years, so as soon as I come, I pay the landlord or landlady, then I move in. People don't know their neighbors. And if Al-Qaeda wants to strike, the person may come for short stay. I was in Nairobi, the Westgate Mall, where we lost Professor Awono.
Yeah.
They said, incidentally, the guys had rented one of the shops. And gradually they were moving the weapons. And when D-Day came, they struck. You are a landlady. Young men are living in your house. They drive in Porsche cars. They don't work during the day. They play music all day long. They go out at night and come at dawn. They are a threat to national security. So all of these things come together to make up the well-being and security of a country. And I believe that we need to look at these fine details. If not, Ghana will lose its reputation as a peaceful country.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Ebad Ibrahim. That was a very informative discussion, and this is the Lowdown. My name is Ni Akwe Ismail Akwe. Watch us every Monday on GhanaWeb TV. Be safe.
I and the body I represent, the Alliance for Christian Advocacy Africa, want to wish GhanaWeb, the management team, very well. They came at the right time and they have served a purpose. When my story appeared on GhanaWeb, I found that other media houses that have not interviewed me, that have not called me, they still have the story on their website, media platforms, and I know that even if they don't acknowledge, I know they pick it from GhanaWeb. So they have served the media needs, or they've made significant contribution to media needs in Ghana. We wish them a very good future, but we pray that they will also need be find a way of reducing the hurt that people are going through, because it seems to me people who receive some kind of abusive feel hurt, but they may still want to go to GhanaWeb because of its uniqueness. We wish them a very fruitful years in the coming years and days ahead of us.
And welcome to BizTech on GhanaWeb TV with me, Ernestina Sewa Asante. As usual on this program, we serve you some stories that made headlines in the week, and an exclusive interview a member of the business desk had with an expert. So our guest today on BizTech is someone who has a bachelor's degree in business management from UPSA, but that did not deter him from moving to the streets of Kantamanto to learn leather making. He is the CEO of Caveman Watches, Anthony Jamepe, and my colleague Maoli Aholumega had an interaction with him, and he tells us his journey to becoming one of Ghana's major luxury watchmakers. Let's take a look at the full report.
His idea first began when he decided to resell watches to make profit. As he journeyed on, he devised ways to set up a business, which has now become one of the biggest watchmaking brands in the country. Before I introduce my guest, I'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome to BizTech on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Maoli Aholumeka. Welcome back from our break on BizTech. My guest on this week's edition is Anthony Jamepe, and he's the CEO of Caveman Watches, which is a solely indigenous watchmaking company. Anthony, welcome to BizTech. How are you doing?
Thank you, bro. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Many thanks for the time. Yeah, so today we just want to find out, who is Anthony Jamepe?
Oh, just one very simple guy.
Okay.
Yeah, founder of Caveman Watches. We are the only company in Ghana making watches. We launched this brand in December 2018, on 12th December 2018, yes. Okay. So we are getting to our third year now.
Okay. And how's it going so far?
Ups and downs, as expected.
All right. But we just want to go just briefly backwards. What went into your idea? I understand you came into this by accident.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird when I tell people that I didn't grow up a watch fan, you know. Before 2015, I didn't even like watches. I never had a watch, you know, so it was quite by accident.
Okay.
Yeah. Just resigning from my job and looking for opportunities, and I just happened to buy a watch.
Okay.
And somebody showed interest and I sold a watch. Then I just got the idea that, no, maybe I could form a business out of it.
Okay.
So that's how the whole thing happened.
Okay. But before you went into setting up a business like this, you said personally you didn't really like watches.
Yeah, I didn't like watches.
So what made you start to love watches?
I bought a watch and I sold it. I made profits.
Okay.
I mean, being unemployed, I was looking for opportunities, how to survive. So it was literally just survival, you know, making some profit.
Some profit here and there.
So yeah, maybe if it was some other business that gave me that initial profit, it may have gotten my attention to want to make a business out of it.
Okay.
So it just happened that it was the wristwatch that I made my profit from, and I, being jobless, decided to make business out of it, yeah.
Okay.
Then the passion grew along the way.
Yeah. But there's this conception out there that watches are very expensive. If you really want a really good brand of watch, it's very, very expensive. You have to go into the $100,000s of dollars.
Oh no, I mean, there are watches for every budget. It depends on the brand that you're looking to purchase. So there's a brand for everybody. There are expensive watches, there are very affordable watches. So yeah, something for everyone.
Okay. So at Caveman, what type of watches do you usually make?
We try to have watches for every budget.
Okay.
You know, so we have watches starting from 350 cedis all the way up. So we try to have something for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in terms of the raw materials that you use, are they locally sourced?
Not all of the materials are locally sourced. You have about 80% of the materials from here.
Okay.
But there are some things that we can't locally produce. So those we still import. Yeah.
But for those who don't really know much about watches, are there specific types? Because sometimes you see in the watches, you see some some things moving in there. Yeah, so yeah, all that. Just take us briefly. What type of those kind of watches?
Well, so basically, we have the battery watches or the quartz watches. We have mechanical watches. We have automatic watches, kinetic watches.
Okay.
People should know why they are buying the watch, the functionality of it. Are you buying the watch for fashion purposes or for functionality?
Okay.
So, yeah, I would always advise people to know the purpose for buying the watch.
Okay.
There are different types of watch buyers. You know, somebody is a collector. He buys the watches to store them over time, so he can what do you call it? Auction them. Auction them.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why he's buying the watch as a collector. You know, so he also looks out for something different.
Okay.
Somebody's also buying it just as an accessory, a fashion accessory. Also knows what to look out for. So yeah, there are different types of people who buy watches and why they buy them.
Okay. But when it comes to like maintaining a watch, what goes into that process?
You mean for the user?
Yeah, for the user. Yeah.
How to maintain your watch.
Yeah.
One of the things people don't know about watches is that the cost or the price of a watch hugely depends on the accuracy of the movement.
Okay.
Are you losing or gaining seconds in a day? Is your watch lagging behind over time?
Okay.
So the accuracy of the watch is very important. And one of the things that affects accuracy of a watch is magnetization.
Okay.
A lot of times people put their watches close to other devices that have magnets in them, like your phone, your headphones, anything that has magnets in it. The more it comes into contact with your watch, it could magnetize the components of your watch. So people sometimes have watches that start losing time accuracy and they don't know why. You change the battery, but it still loses accuracy. In such cases, we have to demagnetize the watch.
Okay.
So that's just an example of how to maintain your watch, making sure you don't get your watch magnetized.
Yeah. Yeah, so one of the distinct things that I found out doing my little research on your watches was I saw you have the Ghana emblem on it.
Yeah.
What went into that idea?
The Patriot, we call it the Patriot.
The Patriot, yes, okay.
Yeah, we just wanted to have something. You know, generally our watches are not, we don't have too many Ghanaian symbols in our watches. You know, we are trying to serve the international market generally, but because the watches are very customizable, very bespoke, we leave them very plain. When you want to have this in there or that in there, then we do that for you. So the Patriot's watch model is one of the very indigenous ones.
Okay.
And yeah, it's just the identity, you know, an embodiment of Ghana in the watch.
Okay.
So yes.
All right. So now coming back to Caveman again, I'm sure you have a number of people that are working for you and all of that. In terms of staff, how many people work on a day? The number of watches you guys make in a day?
Number of watches we make in a day?
In a day, yeah.
Usually, we take a period to produce the watches.
Okay.
Then we pause.
You pause, okay.
You understand?
Right. So it comes as and when?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
All
so
right,
we take a period, we produce to a point, then we can step back and start doing other things. So it's not a very constant number. Yeah,
that's fine. Yeah. Also, in terms of the clients, what kind of clientele do you guys have coming here at Caveman?
So like I said, I mean, watches starting from 350 cities going up. So
okay.
I think our clientele are the working class people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Anthony, how many, in terms of staff here at Caveman, what's your staff strength?
We are about 13.
Okay.
We do have other non-permanent workers too.
Okay.
Yeah. So we are an average 13, but contract workers do come in and go. Yeah.
But just briefly, when you go back to when you started and now, what was the staff strength like? I'm sure you definitely had some challenges.
Well, you always have to start from one, from two.
Okay.
So started alone, built up gradually from 1, 2, 3, and then we are still growing.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. All right, I've been speaking with Anthony Jamafe, and he's my guest on this week's edition of BizTech. He's the CEO of Caveman Watches, which is a solely indigenous watchmaking company. I'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
powers and principalities.
There's so much fire inside me.
Tragedy struck when part of the largest hillside at the kosher rubbish dump collapsed.
It's going to be fun to see how he goes about approaching this game.
Welcome back from that break. Anthony Jamafa is my guest on this week's edition of This Tech, and we've been talking about watches. Anthony is also the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Caveman Watches, which is a Ghanaian-owned watchmaking company. Anthony,
hello,
we've been
bro.
having a very interesting conversation.
Yeah.
And I want to come to the tech bit. I'm sure you have some kind of tools that you use to ensure that we see all these beautiful watches that we see here.
Yeah.
What are some of those, and how do you go through the process?
The process, the most important stage of the watchmaking process is the one that it's not very tangible. Let me say the design process, the thought that goes into every design. I think that's the foundation of everything. So you see some of the most simple minimalist watches that we have, but the most thought has gone into those ones, even more than some of the sophisticated ones. So we start from the design process, where we have a round table, we look at the components, the message we are trying to portray with the watch, the aesthetics, we come to that, and then we go to illustrations, animation, the designers will do the animations and everything, then the carving of the watch cases, which a PDO machine does, carving the cases. We have fiber machines we use to cut out the dial, and then how we color the dials to your specifications. We have the sun ray coloring, we have the matte coloring.
Wow.
We come to designing the indices or the markers, the numbering that you see on the dial. The Roman numerals, are we doing numbers or sticks or dots? Different types. We design that. We come to designing the watch hands, the second hand, the minute hand, the hour hand, the shape of it, and the leaf, arrows, different types of hands. We loom the hands sometimes so it can glow in the dark. Designing the date window on the dial. A lot goes into that. We have the machines cutting the components. Then when we are done with the components, it comes back to my table for assembly. After assembly, it goes to testing. We have to do the water resistance test. We have to do the watch band durability test. We do drop test on it. Lots of things go into it. So yes, it's a little all over the place.
Yeah, that's very quite elaborate. I mean, you just see the watch like this.
Yeah,
and
then the leather strap department too. Making the leather straps. Yeah.
Wow, very, very, very elaborate. It looks very simple when you have it on your arms there. But what's the future for Caveman like?
We want to have a very strong hold in the international market. I think there are lots of watch brands that we've known for so many years that are giants in the watch space. And we want to be able to push this Ghanaian brand to rub shoulders with those giants that we've known for so many years. So that's the direction in which we are going. We are trying to really take part in the global market when it comes to watches.
So Anthony, Caveman has been operating for since, let's say, close to 4 years.
3.
3 years, yeah. So I'm sure you've had some challenges. And I also understand you had some kind of training at Kantamanto. Can you share that journey with us?
Challenges generally for every business in this Ghanaian economy. Capital is always one. How to start your business, where to get funding from. Some of us were lucky enough, maybe not lucky, but strategic enough, you know, to break the business down into the core components and start with very minimal capital and grow gradually. So capital is a challenge, expertise is a challenge. When people talk about capital being a challenge, I always have the view that expertise is more of a challenge than capital. Even if you are able to access capital, a lot of money, without the technical know-how, you might even mismanage it. So yes, and then talking about my experience in Kantamanto, it was at a point, initially I was only selling watches.
Okay.
Then I moved to repairing watches. Then I moved to making leather straps because I realized that people had very good watches but bad straps. So I wanted to gain knowledge in leather crafts. So I went to Kantamanto, made friends with one shoemaker, and he opened his doors to me. I would come like an apprentice to him, polishing people's shoes, stitching leather, doing shoemaker work for some time. But that helped me to understand how leather behaves, how leather is treated.
Okay.
While I was there, I was reverse engineering imported leather straps. And with the help of this shoemaker, he was teaching me everything, what this does, what that does, what this does, and he helped me buy tools for leather strap making. So I was in Kantamanto specifically to learn leather crafts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And how was that experience for you?
It was very humbling. Yeah. I mean, it was very confusing for people. You know, finished my university, I have my degree, and I'm in Kantamanto being a shoemaker for some time.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I mean, wherever the road leads, I mean, I follow.
Yeah. It looks like it's paid off.
It's paying off.
It's paying off.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So there's been this debate about the youth, the government telling the youth to venture into entrepreneurship. What's your take on that?
Well, it's a very delicate topic. I think it's very dangerous to push everybody into entrepreneurship because the traits or characteristics that it requires to function properly here are things that some people have and some don't have. It's not a one-cap-fits-all situation, so it's dangerous to push everybody down that lane. For example, you know, being an entrepreneur requires a very high ability to deal with stress, right? There are some people who even physically can't take stress. You know, people break down very quickly, and pushing such a person into entrepreneurship is deadly, you know. So yes, and then I don't think the government has enough structures in place to support entrepreneurship on that kind of scale that they are thinking, unless the government actively put structures in place, new policies to help that. It's a very dangerous thing to push everybody into, And one of the things I think the government can do to aid entrepreneurship is, I spoke about the lack of technical know-how. It would be very helpful if we have government-owned incubators that can hatch people's ideas, direct, groom, mentor, and, you know, take the businesses from idea to realization and success points. Incubators would really help. I would also recommend very strongly for the government to establish a bank. Just like what ADB does with the agri sector, we should have a bank that focuses primarily on funding businesses. China has something like that with the China Construction Bank. So that's why their construction industry is booming very much, because there's a bank focusing on that.
That gives them lending.
So if we have a bank in Ghana that will focus on entrepreneurship, I think it would really help to support this new need for more entrepreneurs because of the unemployment crisis. If it's a crisis, I don't know, but it's becoming a crisis.
It is, all right. Yeah, Anthony, so I saw a very peculiar watch on there with some erotics on there. What kind of watch is that?
Yes, so it's a caveman erotica watch.
Okay.
But erotica watches have been a thing of the past. I mean, they've been there from the history of watchmaking. Some very popular watch brands have erotica watches. There are some brands that focus on that alone. But I think it's a great conversation starter. I mean, we shouldn't be so serious all the time. You know,
have some fun.
I just decided to have a bit of every type of watch concept in my collection. We had minimalist watches, we have the skeleton style watches that are showing the components. Just trying to have something for everybody, and the erotica watches are just great conversation starters.
Okay.
Yeah.
You mentioned something about collection, just briefly.
Mhm.
You personally,
Mhm.
how many watches do you have?
About 1 or 2.
Really?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I have about 1 or 2 watches.
Why? Why do you have one? You make a lot of watches. How come you have just 2?
Well, and a lot of times I run into people who are trying to take my watches off my hands. So yeah, I don't have a lot of watches.
Okay.
Maximum 2 watches at a time. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anthony, definitely you're an entrepreneur, which your journey is quite very interesting to find out. What's your final message out there for persons who are looking up to you and want to be like you someday?
I think people should be the best versions of themselves, not to be like anybody. Because one of the most important things I would always tell the youth is that we should search for ourselves. You know, there are lots of people, even in the universities, that are not sure what they will be doing after universities. You know, I personally grew up with a lot of. I was in the science department doing chemistry, biology, and all these things. I have friends who I was in the science department with, and they are now DJs, right? A science student, now he's a DJ, and he's making his fortune from DJing. You know, so it's weird how even in the uni stage, people are reading courses and they have no idea they will be leaving it entirely to find something else. So the earlier we sit down and search for ourselves to know what we are good at, what we are not good at, and to have the courage to want to industrialize our real potential, get mentorship, because when it comes to the decision to do entrepreneurship, to be an entrepreneur, a lot of the reasons are misguided for people. It's based on what they hear during the interviews. But there's a lot of things we say on interviews lots of things that happen behind the curtains, that we wouldn't say on air. Do you understand? So the information that comes on air is a bit filtered. But if that information is what guides people to want to be entrepreneurs, then they now get into the space and get surprised by things that they find. So get a mentor who would teach you the real deal behind the curtains, you know. So that's me trying to sum up my advice to the youth in that regard.
Anthony, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Anthony Jamafa, and he's the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Caveman Watches, which is an indigenous watchmaking company. And he's been sharing with me his journey from 2018 up until this period. He has been my guest on this week's edition of BizTech on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Maoli Aholmega.
Thank you, Maoli Aholumega, for that report. Up next is Biz Headlines. To our very first story, the first phase of the Keta port is estimated to cost $650 million for construction, Transport Minister Kweku Ofori-Esiama has revealed. According to him, feasibility and preparatory works, which will see the commencement of the project, have since been completed. Addressing participants during a stakeholder engagement, Kweku Ofori-Esiama said the completion of the Keta port project, which is of great significance to the Akufo-Addo administration, will heighten economic activities in the area.
As part of the development agenda for Ghana, under the able leadership of His Excellency the President, a new commercial port is being developed at Keta in the Volta region to accelerate development of the region. Keta is one of the Ghana's 16 administrative regions with Ho as its capital. Based on the population, the Volta is the 7th biggest region in Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, since government declared its intention to develop this project, a number of behind-the-scenes activities have been undertaken. The current status of the project includes the following. 1, the Excellency having declared the site as a port zone. The feasibility studies for the project has been completed. A physical office structure has been constructed, fully equipped and finished. The feasibility studies propose that the port facility shall be developed in phases corresponding with the forecasted traffic growth and potential business development. The phase 1, which is the Port Nicholas, is estimated around $600 to $650 million, consisting of the main facilities, the key drivers of the commercial port development.
On budget reading, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is expected to deliver the 2022 budget before Parliament on November 17th. This is according to the Second Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Andrew Esiama Amwako. Prior to its latest advertised date for the budget presentation, Majority Leader Oseche Mensah Bonsu and Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin have respectively given separate dates for November 15th and November 17th. But the Finance Ministry had earlier set November 15th as the date for Finance Minister to deliver the budget statements before Parliament. Already, Minister for Parliament Affairs, Oseche Mensah Bonsu, has urged his colleague MPs to proactively deal with allocations from the budget in a timely manner. He said, "I want to urge all MPs to proactively deal with the allocations as early as possible with very intelligent scrutiny of the allocations so that when it comes to the passage of the appropriations on December 17th, the House can move forward swiftly." To our third story, the Ghana Grid Company has announced that some parts of the country will experience power outages, popularly known as doomsaw. In a press statement cited by GhanaWeb, it explained that the power outages to be witnessed is due to the falling of a communication mast on the 330 kV Abuazi-Kumasi transmission line, resulting in the collapse of 2 adjacent towers. It's further that Gridco is working to replace the fallen towers as soon as possible to resolve the power crisis issue. Ghana's inflation rate for October 2021 has hit 11.0%, the Ghana Statistical Service has revealed. This makes it the highest inflation rate recorded in Ghana since May 2020. It is also a sharp increase from an earlier 10.6% recorded in September 2021. The increase in the inflation rate was due to hikes in prices of water, housing, electricity, gas and transport. However, at the regional level, the overall year-on-year inflation ranged from 1.9% in the eastern region to 19.2% in the Upper West region. Upper West region recorded the highest month-on-month inflation in 3 regions, Greater Accra, Upper West and Eastern, recorded negative on month-to-month inflation rates. Director General of SNIT, Dr. John Ofori-Tenkran, has noted that effective January next year, the pension scheme will not receive contribution reports without Ghana card numbers. He stressed that reports without the NIA numbers will be rejected, adding that failure to submit required details on the contribution report on time will also attract penalties. Speaking at an employers' breakfast meeting in Accra, Dr. Ofori-Tenkran noted that employers and individuals were given a grace period from July to December to get abreast with this new directive, which will start from January 2022. To our very last story, the Bank of Ghana's Monetary Policy Committee will from Tuesday, November 16th to Friday, November 19th, begin its scheduled meetings to review economic development of the country. The 103rd meeting of the committee is expected to entail the initiation of proposals for the formulation of the policies of the central bank, provision of statistical data and economic advice. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, who is also the chairperson of the Monetary Policy Committee, will make decisions that will influence the cost of credit in the country for the remaining months of 2021. Among such decisions will be a review or maintenance of the monetary policy rate, which was at the Central Bank's 102nd meeting kept unchanged at 13.5%, citing an increase in public debt stock and inflation risk. A circular issued by the Bank of Ghana on November 9, 2021, said the MPC, following its 4-day meeting, will announce its decision taken on November 22 at a press conference. That's all for today, but before we go, do log on to www.ghanaweb.com for more stories. Do well to follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Ghana Web. On YouTube, GhanaWeb TV. My name is Ernestina Sewa Asante. Do have a lovely weekend.